Okay, welcome everybody to Hash Church Season 11, Episode 23, a special Wade Laughter celebration episode. Oh, where to begin? Where to begin? I think I'd like to start by saying some nice words about Wade. I have them written down, so I will be reading these words. And I checked with Monica and a couple of his friends to make sure everything was accurate and on point, and just wanted to share this with everyone real quick. Today we gather to honor and remember Wade Laughter, a man whose life was a testament to compassion, resilience, and the healing power of the earth. Wade was more than a pioneer in the cannabis world. He was a guardian of nature, a teacher, and a beacon of hope for those in need. Wade's journey began in with a personal battle. Diagnosed with glaucoma in 1995, he faced the harsh realities of conventional treatments that left him ill. Yet from the struggle emerged a passion that would define his life. Turning to cannabis, he discovered the Harlequin strain, a high CBD variety that became his legacy. With its rainbow-like colors and soothing properties, Harlequin was more than a plant. It was a gift he nurtured and shared, easing pain and offered clarity to those who sought its medicine. His work with Harlequin earned him recognition as a master cultivator, celebrated by High Times in '08 and 2020, and inspired the creation of Wade's Laughter, a CBD-rich strain developed with Humboldt Seed Company, a CBD-rich cultivar. I'm sorry, Ryan. But Wade's heart extended beyond his garden. As a co-founder of House of Harlequin alongside Brandy Reeves and Monica Center, he built a sanctuary for education and accessibility, ensuring CBD reached those who needed it most. His role as board chair of the Nevada Council, County Cannabis Alliance, and a member of the International Cannabis Farmers Association showcased his unwavering advocacy for sustainable sun-grown cannabis and reasonable policies. Though through the Nevada County Compassion Program, a donation-based initiative, he provided free medicine to medicinal users, reflecting his belief that healing should never be a privilege. Perhaps Wade's most profound contribution was his work with the Caladrius Network. Driven by a desire to help families with catastrophically ill children, like Silas Hurd, whose epilepsy found relief through cannabis, Wade grew special breeds and trained others to do the same. This network, though now defunct due to shifting laws, offered hope where conventional medicine failed, distributing over $1.2 million in medicine to families in need. His collaboration with local growers and businesses, including Elevation 2477, ensured this mission endured, providing tinctures and support at no cost. Wade's life was a lesson in connection to the earth, to the plant, to the community. He taught that cannabis thrives when treated with respect, mirroring the electromagnetic pulse on the earth itself. His wisdom guided farmers to grow green, not just for medicine, but for the planet's beauty. Even after a back injury halted his farming, he turned to teaching, sharing his knowledge via Zoom and recorded videos, dreaming of a global education model. Today, as we celebrate his life on this Hash Church gathering, let us remember Wade's laughter, his joy in the garden, his warmth in advocacy, his love for those he helped. He leaves behind a legacy of healing from the Harlequin cultivar to the children who found life through his efforts. Let us carry forward his spirit, tending the earth and supporting each other with the same care he gave so freely. Rest in peace, Wade Laughter. Your roots run deep, and your harvest will forever nourish us, brother. I will miss you. I will definitely miss you, brother. Welcome to Mike and Johnny B, who just popped into the room. Welcome, guys. Just gonna fall apart for a while. What an
Thank you.
incredible man. Met him through the Caladrius Network and Forrest. Forrest brought Wade to us through the Caladrius Network and through his experience with Silas, and we're hoping on having Forrest join us at one point here today. We have a large group of people that will be joining us to help celebrate Wade as we celebrated him every week for the last many years that he was fighting this illness. So yeah, I just wanted to start it off with those words, kind of give a proper recognition of our brother. He touched so many hearts, every heart in Hash Church. He always constantly would tell me, "Oh, just cut me off if I'm rambling on, I didn't mean to talk for so long yet, It's unfortunate that Wade never saw that what he said on this show was perhaps the most important things that were ever said on this show. And so we definitely will never forget him. Welcome, Dr. Mark.
Hey, Marcus.
He was unforgettable.
Oh, I guess I'm not even connected to audio, so I haven't heard anything any of you have said. There we go.
Pretty moving words there, Marcus. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he's been with us for so long, and he's just been such a positive light and breath of fresh air constantly. And like Ryan said, whether it was last episode or the episode before, for him to allow us on this journey with him and to not kind of keep it very private as most people do, you would expect it's a very private thing to be terminally ill, to travel down that journey. And Wade allowed us to be on that journey with him during the most, it couldn't have been a more vulnerable time in his life. And I know it was hard for him to allow us to feel his pain because he was such a compassionate individual. It's almost as though he wanted to protect us from it, but not at the extent of not coming on and not sharing. And so, yeah, another incredible legend and friend and mentor and just beautiful man has moved on, and we will have to hold on to what he left here with us to travel through the rest of our journey.
Oh, but what did he leave with us, right? He left a beautiful legacy of nothing but love, compassion, giving of himself, always eager to help, always eager to assist in any way, shape, or form. And he worked for and towards the most vulnerable. And if you can't respect that, there's not much I can say, except I was honored to call him friend. I was honored to work alongside him. Wade was a veteran, so he was part of our Veterans Action Council. It was something he came to after we interviewed him about 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago, I guess. His story stuck with us because he was Vietnam era. He joined the Navy and was in the Navy, and he did his time working in the USS Constellation, I do believe. And and then went on to his peaceful life. He was a driver for the Green Tortoise. And if you don't know what the Green Tortoise is, they were a bus that took people all over, and he was the driver. So for many years. So I've heard many awesome stories about him and the Green Tortoise, because I used to see the Green Tortoise all the time because it parked right not too far from us in Berkeley. So you'd always see the Green Tortoise buses parked. So the best thing that we can do is continue what he did and continue to spread love and compassion. And I hate losing one of my friends and teachers, but we can never forget what they taught us. So they forever live in our hearts. And it's up to us to continue to spread that love. And if anything he did was spread lots of love. So you fuckers, you got a lot of love to spread. So get your shit together. Get it ready. You got a lot of love to fucking give. So love yourself. Get your shit together. Wade didn't give us his journey just to give up, right? We have to fight onward. So thank you for the teachings. Thank you for the honorings. I missed you. I spoke to you the night before you left. And I'm glad I got to talk to you. I didn't know you were leaving that day. I was going to go visit you the next day. I didn't know you were leaving that early. But that's life. And I love you. I miss you. That's all I can say.
Thanks, Etienne. Appreciate you, brother. Welcome to Swami. and Forrest who popped into the room, both extremely close with Wade. It was Forrest who brought Wade to Hash Church to our attention. It was Silas's journey that brought Wade to Hash Church, Forrest's journey, and the Caladrius Network. And yeah, I really want to thank you for that, Forrest. I know it wasn't an easy journey that you've been on, but there are incredible offshoots of that journey that have created just so much positivity and love and empathy and compassion. And your journey was a big part of that. And you as well, Swami. I know you were close with Wade and you interviewed him many times. And we're just glad to have you guys both here sharing happy stories and, sharing our love of Wade. And I definitely want to also give a huge, huge hug to Monica for the rock that she's been for all of these years going through this transition with Wade and really being just, incredibly strong. I know she's listening right now, so we're sending our love to you, Monica. Anything the Hash Church community can do, consider it done. And yeah, we have a great deal of love for you. So thank you so much. Welcome, Ryan. Chimera
Hi, guys.
in the house.
Another heavy one.
Dude, that photo that you took of Wade and Sam was so profound, and I think even just looking at it, everyone knew that it was a special moment in time that you allowed to have happen by just, kind of going out of your way a little bit. And yeah, I want that photo printed large and in my office behind me because it's a special one, man. The fact that those guys got to meet and spend a little bit of time together was just yeah, it just brings warmth to my heart. It's pretty special. I will admit I was pretty envious too, although I do see envy as a negative emotion, so I transferred it into inspiration. I was like, man, I want to be there with those guys and listening and enjoying. And Ryan was able to actually, just, and it's not a very Ryan thing to do, but he just felt inclined to record some of the conversation, not saying anything, just like, I'm going to record some of this. So he has a little bit of that conversation of Wade and Sam that day that they met. And it's also pretty awesome. So thanks, brother. It's pretty magical stuff.
Yeah, that whole thing. I traveled with David in California in 2015. He and Diana came down, and you know, we kind of took each other around to our spots, and I called it the Chili Rellenos tour because David just he'd order chili rellenos at every restaurant we went to. Something you can't really get in Holland. And it was a decade later, and I knew that he had been planning on going down, and I wasn't really in a position where I thought that I'd be able to go, and then last minute I just decided, fuck it. Like, how many more times am I gonna get to travel with David in California? And so I went down, and I had asked David if it was okay if I'd come and join, you know, he and Diana visiting Wade. We knew Wade was sick, obviously, and um, David and Diana were down visiting also a sick family member. And so I picked up David and we headed up to Wade's place and got to sit around and chat and, you know, tell war stories and eat some Mexican food. And Wade had been having a bit of a hard time accepting that phase that he was in of life. Not only being on the farm and not being able to do the work and be kind of the man around the farm, but he was scared. I think he was having some hard time accepting the idea of a world without him, and he was scared about the end of life stuff. And David did not have that. David had decided from a young age that he wasn't going to live past 30 years old because he was a bit of a he was a bit of a you know psychonaut, right? He was all into all sorts of psychedelic drugs and just kind of lived life to his fullest. And he was convinced that he wasn't going to live past 30. So any day past 30 for David live without fear, and he looked at it like as extra time, I think. And there was something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something that David said. We were talking about death and ego, and there was something that David had said that just seemed to click for Wade. And Wade went from this kind of anxious, shoulders up, just he had this moment of release, and it turned into laughter, and he just didn't seem to fear death after whatever it was that David had said to him. He kind of recontextualized, that
I did.
stage.
I put it in a glass.
He kind of recontextualized that stage of life for him, and it was a really powerful, beautiful thing to see. Because Wade totally changed. Like he lost that whole sense of anxiety of death, and he really kind of just accepted where he was. And you know, I think he saw it as a time to embrace a new role rather than trying to be the caretaker for. I mean, like we all can't be the caretaker forever, right? Like we get to a point in time in our travels where you have to let go. You have to let other people take care of you, and that's an identity shift, and it's not easy. It's quite actually difficult for I think a lot of people to accept, especially people that are so competent and so like how many people Wade had taken care of in his life, right? He was a caretaker. He was someone that looked out for the herd. Um, and like you said before, Marcus, that he wasn't just caring for the people that were around him. He was caring for the downtrodden and the people that didn't have it as good as he did, right? Like he really looked out for the weak ones in the herd. And it's part of what made him such a soft-spoken leader, right? Like he wasn't out there yelling and screaming and pushing around people, telling them what to do. He was leading by example. And yeah, I, remarkable life, Again, one of these ones where it's like it's so sad to think that he's not going to be here to be part of our journey. But when you look back at the impact that he had on people and our community, I mean, it's kind of immeasurable. I didn't meet him, but I first came aware of Wade when I was down in California doing the CBD breeding projects that I was part of down there. And I was kind of keeping on track on who was doing CBD work. And, we were picking up samples from dispensaries and having it run through the lab. And so that was kind of the first way I knew of Wade. But he was someone that was, kind of not out in the limelight looking for credit and stardom. He was just making medicine, right, and contributing to the grassroots of the movement. And there's not a lot of people like Wade. So anyway, I'm gonna miss him. He was a very unique person in our movement and someone that was he just to me he defined compassion, right? And especially as our movement has evolved into this new legalization thing that we have, it's become more rare. So anyway, rest Wade, and what a gift it was to get to know him.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you, brother. Welcome to Kelly and Colin. Kelly from Dragonfly Earth Medicine. I saw Josh briefly. I think he's with us as well. And welcome to both of you guys today as we celebrate the laughter that is Wade Laughter.
Yeah, really feeling it today. It always feels like the day that somebody passes when they're are in such pain and they're going through so much in their body. It's like you want to give that day to be happy for them. You want to feel like you're on their journey with them and that there's nothing holding them back. And so the day that Wade passed, I just felt like, wow, Wade, I'm going to give you this day to be truly, truly happy that you made your transition. And I know that he was in tremendous amounts of pain for quite a long time. And even being comfortable was a real challenge. So when I had heard that he had passed, there was a part of me that felt good because he's relieved. and he's free. And it's hard to say that when that happens to a friend, but then, the reality hits you that you're not able to make memories with this person anymore, or, there's so many things that we had planned together. There was a lot of future stuff, and we wanted to do another Dempure Hive and so many things. So having Wade in our memories and having him as a part of, the wake that we were able to follow in for all of these years has been it's beyond a gift. People like Wade don't come into our lives, or nor do they even come on the planet very often. He was a very, very, one in a million guy. Josh is here too. Sit down. And I just really feel like his words, anytime he spoke, it was really easy to hang on to every single one of his words because they were so potent. It was like the guy didn't just talk to say things, so much chit chat in this world and so many people just saying things to say things. But whenever Wade spoke, it was potent, it was meaningful, it was something that you wanted to hold on to, it was something that, you wanted to save. And I just feel like I'll forever have so many of his sayings and so many words inside of his heads, as well as his intention for where it is that we need to go. It makes me want to work harder. It makes me want to be a better person. And it makes me want to show up more for this industry and show up more for the plant and the medicine and the people that are really needing it. So thank you, Wade.
Yep. Thank you, Monica.
Thanks, Monica.
Wade. Thank you. Grass Valley community and Nevada City and the whole area up there it's a really special zone. So many people have moved up there recently over the last few years, and Wade's just one of the elders that held it down. And with Forrest all these years, and thinking about you a lot, Forrest, over the years as well. And Wade was someone to look up to. You got a lot of elders in the world, and every once in a while there's one that's very potent. And Wade, as Kelly said, when he spoke, it was worth listening to. And it was something you wanted to hear because it wasn't coming from like an ego or anything. It was coming from just straight heart and soul, just straight like love and wellness. And we just love you, Wade. Thank you. I'm going to spark one up for our beautiful friend right now. And I love everyone in this room. I love everyone online, and I'm very thankful to wake up every day and have the opportunity to try and make the world a better place like Wade did. So
thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Wade.
We love you.
This whole thing also reminded me, I've had a few messages from people from the community, just from the church community reaching out when I posted about Wade passing, and they were on their farms shedding tears, right? It's not just us that have been impacted by Wade. It's like it's a lot of the people that are watching too. Right? And it kind of hits home and makes you kind of step back and realize it's like there's a lot of other people. It's not just us. There's a lot of other people that Wade impacted through this community. And yeah, we're the ones on here yapping away, but everybody else is grieving too, right? And that's a pretty amazing level of impact, right? That just people watching you on a show are so impacted by Wade's words and his movement and the way that he selflessly lived his life of service, giving to people, trying to make the world better through growing plants and making medicine for people with forests. I mean, what you guys did was it's been part of these are the key things that allowed cannabis to get to legalization. And it's really kind of shitty that we've dropped that medical aspect, because without these selfless acts that people did all over the world, we wouldn't have been able to break down the prohibition rhetoric, right? There's no denying when you see children that are sick and them being able to live lives, right? Like there's no denying when you see people that are having severe epileptic seizures or spasms associated with, multiple sclerosis or whatever. And in real time, you see them, or Parkinson's. In real time, you see them taking dabs or, inhalations of the product, and they're feeling better. right? Like you're visibly able to see them improving, right? And it's like you can't deny another human that kind of relief. So the role that people like Wade and Forrest play and others, but Wade was really one of the giants in that arena. And
Right. He took people like Forrest, who were parents who found themselves all of a sudden in a situation no parent wants to fucking find themselves in. And Forrest, how lucky were you to find somebody like Wade, right? To really step in in a time when science or nobody else would, you know, he chose to work all the way through with the most vulnerable, those that, I mean, the butterfly children, those with severe epilepsy, those that, I'm proud to be a medical provider, but I'm only a medical provider for only so like I can do legally. And what Wade did, and with his compassion and Monica understanding his mission and supporting him all the way through. Forrest, I mean,
Morning.
how lucky were you, my friend?
Oh, I was doing well, and your words, everyone. I mean, I was very lucky. But before I say anything, I also want to say, thank you to all of you. I think it's been 6 years since I've been on the show. Um, and, you know, it really warmed my heart seeing a lot of the same faces. Nice to meet the new ones. But it's good to see you again. And moments like this, really remind me of like what a crazy journey it's been and the people you meet along the way and how easy it is to have years go by without being able to see them again and say hello. So, Mark, Etienne, it's great to see you again. Thanks for the invite, Marcus Swami. It's been a while. I was looking at some pictures of Wade and I up at your house that I don't think I've ever showed that I have of you and him on the couch laughing pretty damn hard. That just stayed on the phone, and then I found them when I was looking at Wade's pictures. So I need to get those to you guys. But yeah. Anyway, with that being said, I could, there's a lot of different ways I could start talking about Wade, so I'll jump in and out. But for those who don't know me, Wade was a friend of mine who, I live up here near him, and we met through the advocacy work, and he did what Wade does. And I was very lucky. I was a parent. My son, uh, I'll briefly, for those who don't know him, was one of those kids that kind of made CBD well known 10 years ago, not in this community, but in the public setting, because like Ryan said, it allowed uh, the cannabis biases to get a new perspective, right? So CNN started doing their shows with friends of ours, right? With Paige and her daughter, which later became the Charlotte's Web work. Those families allowed cannabis to be discussed in a new way. And I was just one of those parents. My son has a very rare form of epilepsy. He was having thousands of seizures a month. Doctors told us he wasn't going to live to be 10 years old. And they were very blunt about that fact because of the severity of his condition. And me being who I am, I was kind of like, F that, right? And we're going to figure something out. And these new studies were coming out of Israel. And there was just these little hints of things that Dr. Mishulam was doing and other doctors that were starting to show maybe, right? A glimmer of something. And I met Wade when our local community was going to ban outdoor growing, right? And that was going to impact the very, very early work that I was being exposed to and doing um, to produce what really didn't exist in the community. We're looking at specialized strains, that sort of thing, producing different cannabinoid profiles, isolating them really early, in my community. No one around there was doing that. And I got up and spoke at the Board of Supervisors meeting. I printed out this giant photo because all the images what they do, right? The sheriffs pick the worst cases. They highlight that as the whole community. We've all seen it in all our towns and all our communities, right? They take the worst cases and they say, this is all of them. And this is what cannabis is. And this is why it needed to be banned. So I printed this giant photo of my son. Some of them, intentionally impactful, hooked up to, machines, and others not, others cute. And I just made this collage, and I just went in there, kind of chewed their ass a little bit about the apparent complete lack of awareness of the fact that the paradigm had shifted. And it is absolutely true that in communities, there are people whose life depends on access. And that was something that no one believed, and still, is something we're trying to fight to make, really understood. Wade saw me and did what he does. He tracked me down. And so I was lucky. I was lucky that I chose to show up that day. Because what happened from there, and what became the Caladrius Network, which was kind of like an underground donation project. Not very underground. We were pretty damn public, but we did our thing. What happened there was my brain was in the science and absorbing all of it that I could, figuring out what we needed, what had been tried, what haven't I tried, because in what I hadn't tried is where the hope lied, right? So that was my motivation. And Wade was logistics. I wasn't in the cannabis community. I didn't know growers and cultivators and the good ones, right? And he did what he did for so many people. I said, I need this, and I said, I want to do this. And Wade just started making phone calls, introducing me to people, making connections, and that he really was the facilitator of what at the time was my driven tunnel vision focus, which was to save my son's life, which expanded into other kids. Because once we started having success, then I had this passion to be like, I don't want to see any kids on my watch that we can help pass unnecessarily. And it just grew from there. So yeah, lucky is the word. And it's grateful also, because, Wade was who he was that day, and it led and helped facilitate the path that I was on. And he was who he was the day before he died. And yeah, me too. We were talking about, I would try to get him to not focus, right, on the anxiety and the pain and the things he was going through. And he was talking about, when he was better, the classes he wanted to teach with the two of us, right? So that is the core of Wade. And I got a bunch that I can add in stories, but it's something that is special, and it's special for a reason. And I'm not on social media much, which is why it kind of feels like you're dead, when you're not on social media. Everyone thinks you don't exist anymore, but I'm still here, and there's work going on in the background. But I did make a post there because I just had to get the words out. And what I really was trying to nail down was, what is it about Wade that was special? And not, in that nice, trivial way we say special when we're honoring a friend, right? Like truly unique. And I spent some time meditating on it. I spent some time as I'm going through, like everyone is, the grief process, thinking about it. And it really felt to me that it was his ability to not just give, because we know a lot of givers and we know a lot of kind people. We know a lot of people who champion causes, right? What was different, what made him exceptional, was that he gave in a truly unique way that had zero expectations attached to it. And as someone who's been given a lot of charity because of my son's situation, and someone who has given a lot of charity to others, I've really experienced both sides of how rare that is, right? Where the person has really no emotional attachment. And the example I gave him, what I wrote online, was boiling it down to its simplest form of even people who are expecting a thank you, right? Or expecting there's this attachment of the need for recognition on what we give. And that's normal. I do that. I'm not Wade. I have that naturally, right? Like, do they even say thank you, right? We have this inherent expectation. And sometimes it's as simple as that, but there's an expectation there of some sort of recognition, some sort of acknowledgement, some sort of something. Not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that's how a lot of human beings work, but it does lead a lot of times to weird situations, especially when you're dealing with people in crisis, because they're going through trauma. They don't even know where they're at, let alone if they remembered to say thank you appropriately, to use the same example, right? And then it becomes resentment, and then it becomes those little seeds. The tiniest seed of expectation can lead to weirdness, weird situations. I'm sure we've all experienced that. Hopefully, I'm being clear enough. Wade didn't have that. And that's why I use like the example of even expecting a thank you, because it's so trivial. But even that, he didn't have. He gave, in his focus and the way he was wired was to give. And whether someone was in a place where they could return gratitude or return a favor never even crossed his mind. And that ability to give without expectation made for a different experience for the people who interacted with him, because you truly knew that you could relax, right? There's no, am I going to owe this, or is he going to need this, or man, are they going to call this favor in? It's really subconscious. But because it was there and recognized as this is who I am, and you can feel on a subconscious level, there's no expectation attached to this. It also allowed for a more healing experience. Someone could take charity without guilt or shame and know to the core of them that there's nothing else. There's nothing negative that's going to come from this experience, because this man is doing this. And from there, we can focus back on healing. And I think that really, to me, summarizes what made Wade's interactions feel different, that people may or may not have recognized. That open heart, that lack of any wanting anything in return, and that constant drive to respond when he hears someone else has something that they need, was a combination that was extremely impactful, and impactful to the people who were lucky enough to be in his sphere of influence. So it's something that I really carry with me. Not only did I learn that lesson as we worked in the Caladrius network, because I am a human being and I am not Wade, and I had times to be like, damn, we did all this work, and someone couldn't even return my phone call, right? Or something, the stupid shit that happens. That's what was driven into me during those years. And it led to more peace in my life, because without expectation, resentment doesn't grow, anger doesn't fester, and you have peace because there's nothing to not be peaceful about, right? You just experience and you do what you do because it's important to you. And that is the full circle of the experience. And you cut out that whole other part. And boy, you can find serenity and pleasure and peace in giving that is even a higher level than it was before, as far as the satisfaction of that kind of work. So now, in Wade's honor, I am rambling about Wade, so I'll stop talking now. But man, it's good to be here. Thanks for letting me get some of that out.
Wait, give us
Oh,
give
it's
us an update on Silas.
Yeah. So, man, I'd yell, but I'd probably get in the mic. See if I can get him. He might pop in here, I'm sure. Silas is doing incredible. So, with all that, the short version, Silas, just on May 20th, and we called Wade, and he cried, and I cried. Silas had his 18th birthday on May 20th. 18th, the boy who wasn't going to live to be 10. So maybe on another episode, I could get more into what we did. But the short version is we, through trial, error, and meticulous note taking and refinement, we were able to develop a medicine for Silas that he responded to, and figure out how to adapt that medicine as he grew. Differences in weight, milligrams per kilogram. I mean, really refined. And I was able at one point to get a hold of some things that I wasn't, and we were able to increase the dosages. I'm being intentionally vague so that we don't go down that rabbit hole. But when that change was made, we went from about 80%, 90% seizure reduction. But when you're having 2,500 a month, right, that leaves a lot of seizures, but still undeniably successful. And then with some tweaks about 4 years ago, they stopped. We hit it. And in the last 4 years, he's had one seizure from 2,500 a month. So yeah, those of you out there, don't stop. And I'd be happy to come on, some other time and break down what we did. I'm sure it's not news to a lot of you. You guys are the most educated cannabis people I've come across. But I'd be happy to, talk about the experience, and especially from a parent's perspective of the challenges and the process that is necessary to see success, because it is not just grabbing some CBD and trying it and walking away, which unfortunately is what happens. Yeah, thanks for asking. He's doing freaking amazing. Like, it's just been incredible. Graduates high school this year. He's out there crushing it, man. He's just being Cy. So yeah, that work that we did, and Silas isn't the only one. I don't have permission to talk about other kids. So I'm not getting you, but those families in the Gladiators Network, a lot of them are still together. They call, and if I can help, I do. I'm not public about what we're doing, but Wade and I share that kind of spirit a little bit. So it's not just Silas. We've been able to recreate the kind of methods that we used, and lucky enough and proud to be able to say that because of that, where I started this conversation with Wade just being Wade and saying, there's a guy I don't know, I'm going to see if I can help him. Making those connections, I can say firsthand, has saved a lot of lives, like 20 direct children that I know. And then there's a lot of kids who are doing well because of that work that, may or may not. I mean, their conditions might not have been as severe, but I can say around 20 that I know, they were not going to make it. And that work has saved lives. And those lives, in that experience, saves the lives and well-being of the parents as well. And that trickles out from that direction. That, it's not just the patient, it's the caregivers, the parents around them, the joy that person is able to spread because they're here, So it's when I think about my experience with Wade and realize I'm just one of Wade's folks that he, that his gift, facilitated this growth of this thing. I'm just like I'm one. I can't be counting having the fingers and toes to give an example. I'm one guy out of something he did just continuously. I can't. It fills me with so much fucking joy to really just try to visualize the positive benefit, the amount of laughs that happened at the end of the night that wouldn't have, right?
Well,
The amount of hugs.
he's our modern day Sir Nicholas George Winton. For those of you that don't know about Sir Nicholas George Winton, give him a little Google. He saved 669 Jewish children from Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia in the late
Yeah.
30s, 39. And the what went on from that, simple enough of just him offering to help, that's kind of Wade's work. He's helped an undisclosed amount of people. And I kind of wanted to say something while you were talking, Forrest, in regards to Wade's ability to give without needing anything in return. I would say it's one past that. It's one level up from that. And what it truly is that Wade gave, and then he also gave the thanks that maybe you would want to accept from another. He was supplying that as well. He's like, thank you for letting me help you. And so the thanks was still there. It didn't need to come from the other side because he also provided that. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. The only time he got pissed at me ever, and I wouldn't say pissed, Wade never got pissed, but he was frank with me, we'll put it that way, was when I was apologizing because I was feeling self-conscious about not being able to respond to him and tell him thank you for what he done. And I realized, coming out of this thing for 2 weeks, we'd been in the hospital and I felt awful and I was carrying it with me. I'm like, I'm a piece of shit, right? I didn't even say thanks. I got to get back to him. And I called him and started to unload all that. And he just wasn't having it. He was like, no, we're not doing that. Thank you. And yeah, that's been such an inspiration. And to be honest, I saw Valerie come in. I'm going to stop talking, but there's another one who has been quite the inspiration for me and in those works. Those people are out there. What they do is unfathomably profound. You in this room, some of you are those people. We do our best, but I think it's what validates the things that I am passionate about. What validates what I know a lot of you have done that I will never even come close to reaching that many people is seeing the response online to Wade, right? That response is there because it had an impact and you see those ripples in the wake of his passing. And that reinforces, all the good works that I see, other people out there doing. We don't feel it in the moment, and that's not our motivation. But you can see it when things change, that it's different. If you spend your life trying to impact people positively, and it's different, and you can see it in moments like this. And I think the public response to Wade's passing just highlights how meaningful your life can be if you just add selfless compassion as a skill that you develop. So
Absolutely. You're very much like Wade in that sense, often speaking these powerful words that everyone wants to hear more of, and then following it up with, I'll stop talking now. Nobody wants to hear me rambling. Wade often went on with this. I think Wade also had a little bit of difficulty towards the end, accepting our help and our love and understanding that, hey, it's okay, man. You've helped so many. Take a rest. Let us pick up some of this slack for you. So thank you for your words, Forrest. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you, man. I've missed you. I've missed hearing about you and the family and Silas, and just want to let you know that your words have forever touched us, and the journey for you to come in on this day in particular and tell us how well Silas is doing. I am certain Wade laughter is laughing wherever he is right now and enjoying that news, because I know I sure did. Props to you and props to Silas.
Thank you, my friend. And I love you all. And yeah, it's just, I'm lucky enough to live with the validation that the work is real. We get discredited and told by people who don't spend time educating themselves, what a scam, or we've all heard it. I don't need to explain it, but yeah, thank you. Silas, I see it every day, and you see it in the people you work with, I'm sure. It just validates that it's all worth it. That work was worth it. The points were real. The arguments were moral, just, and ethical. And the impact is unavoidable. So I'm honored to be here. I'm glad to share. And yeah, I will stick around and jump in where I can. And would love to come back for sure, but we'll deal with that another time.
Appreciate you, Forrest. Absolutely appreciate you. It's interesting, it's sometimes just about having a voice. I had a friend come over the other day and he showed up with another friend of his that I had never met before. And he was a musician guy, and he definitely looked like a guy that puffed. My friend does not puff. My friend has a 10-year-old son who's friends with my 10-year-old son, and that's how we know each other. And I know from my wife and just the school, it's kind of like, hey, just keep the pot stuff down on the low. Don't talk about the pot stuff too much. Well, when my friend left to go pick up his son and left his friend, the musician, at my house, I said to him, "Do you smoke hash?" And he was like, "Do I smoke hash? Hell yeah, brother." And we went into my office right here and we smoked a little hash. And what that led to was about 3 or 4 phone calls down the line, he let me know that his sister is suffering from stage 4 liver cancer. And it was a couple of friends that he knew that he told, yeah, I met this guy, Marcus or whatever, and he's up in Lions Bay. He's got a show called Hash Church. And those guys were like, oh my God, that guy's going to be able to help you in some form or another with your sister. And so just from opening my mouth when I kind of felt like, and I'm not saying it was any particular person. I just felt this pressure, like maybe don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't mention pot. Don't mention, oh, it's just that you guys just want to get stoned, you just want to. Yeah, well, we do want to just get stoned. And then that's going to lead to something incredible. That's going to lead to helping another human being. And as I get older, all I want to do is help other human beings. I realize that when I try to earn money and I try to build an empire and I try to do and build and bigger, I'm like the Onceler from the Lorax, and I don't want to be the Onceler. I want to be the Lorax. I want to speak for the trees, not for, business that destroys the planet. And Wade, for me, was a huge inspiration in taking that pathway. So I want to thank you, Wade, wherever you are, my brother. I know you are with us. We keep saying that how are we going to take this journey without you? Well, I'm not. I'm bringing you with me for the rest of my journey. I can promise you that.
Yeah, well, I got this little Sam doll sitting over my shoulder that Etienne, this lovely lady, bought for the memorial. And I'm back in Canada now, so doing some traveling within Canada, kind of on the road for the next, I don't know, 3 months or something like that. But I've got the little Sam with me, and I've really noticed that since Sam's been gone, and I know it's going to be the same with Wade. It's that we do carry them with us, right? That you incorporate when you really know people and you really get what they brought to the world, and you lose them. The only way to keep them alive is to do those things that that were core to their being, right? Like you represent the good in the world of the things that you miss about those people. So I hope everyone will bring Wade with them too.
I'd like to say a few things, if I may. And thank you very much, Forrest. And it was such a moment to meet your son that very first time up at Wade's and to realize, what was going on there and how that carried through. And you said something very profound about, not wanting any thanks or anything like that, but he was thanking you. And of course, being much into yoga, I thought of Mahatma Gandhi's favorite philosophy, which comes from the Bhagavad Gita. And it says, perform the actions which you're naturally inclined to do without any special interest, without any selfishness, without any hope of return. And that was kind of what Mahatma Gandhi thought was the key of the Bhagavad Gita, the great song of India, that it's called Nishkama Karna, perform your duty without desire. And I felt, to compare Wade with Mahatma Gandhi, yeah, there we are right at the top. And this is also the philosophy of Krishna and so on, that you perform the love without any expectation, because that's your duty, because that is what you're good at, right? And so, yeah, there we are. And so one thing I do want to say also that occurred to me is that Wade and I used to talk about pain. And of course, he was in pain, but he was talking about pain on a metaphysical level. What does it mean, and how does it impact everyone's life? And at one point, actually quite a few years ago, he said, "You know, Swami, my CBD work actually masked my pain so that I didn't pay attention to it." The pain, and I said, pain is not pain in and of itself. Pain is always a signal. Pain is always a signal about something else which is out of balance. And so our scientific exploration has to be what is the source of that pain, and work to get to it. And so that was it. But the pain, using the CBD can actually mask the pain so that you don't pay attention to it and you miss the signal. And he was, he was kind of figuring, wow, gee, is this, what had I done here? But of course, we know he's done magical work and all the people that he's helped because of that. But also know, I knew Wade, I mean, over 20 years ago, I've kind of known Wade. I've gotten closer to him in the last bunch of years. And I remember when he came over and how did he get the CBD cultivar that he got? Well, it goes back to another dear friend who passed not so long ago, a great DJ, Goa Gill. And Goa Gill was also a holy man in the Indian tradition of worship of Shiva. And we had a big concert in Switzerland, and one of the guys at the concert was this guy, Lars Ruden, and he was working with some Swiss geneticists. And when he came over to the States, Lars brought with him a whole bunch of seeds. And he started working in Wade's, thank you, Marcus. He started working in Wade's indoor grow down in the city. And they went and they started to sprout all these seeds. And of all those seeds, only one actually sprouted. And this was, the others didn't make it. And you know how that is. Sometimes things come and they don't. And the one seed that did sprout out of like a couple of hundred was the CBD seed. And that was the beginning of Harlequin. And it was, so he saw that as a miracle, as a magical event, that it was cosmically ordained that the only seed that came was the one that actually was the kind of the mother of all of those other CBD strains that he worked on. And then he never stopped in the pursuit of, as you said, Forrest, how constantly revising the formula. And he had that sort of scientific interrogation that was constantly. And I remember just about last year, we were up visiting, and I got on this whole thing about how, it's terpenes, yeah, but there's all these other aromatics beyond terpenes, and they're like esters and phenols, polyphenols and so on. And here Wade suffering, in pain, and all of a sudden his brain clicks in. And we are now deep dive into the molecular structure, the organic molecules of cannabis, and we're both so excited about this exploration into what do you call it, the micro world of cannabis and how those things work. And it was always back to the fact that, it's all of it always all together. And the natural plant grown in the natural way is really the source of it. And I remember an experiment he told me about when he was still growing indoors down in the city. And he supplied a lot of people in the city, even really before we knew about the CBD special. And he said one of the things he did is he had these plants, and he wanted them to be connected to the earth in some way. So he took a copper ground wire and put it in a ground outside the building, carried the copper wire into 3 plants. And right next to them were 3 plants that didn't have the copper ground wire. And he fed them everything all the same. And there was a significant difference in those plants that had the copper ground wire going out to the earth. And that was like a super lesson for us all to say, yes, it is through the earth that this is actually empowered, and that, through the earth and the sky and the natural elements. And just those kind of little experiments that he was always in the quest of something to pursue in a scientific level. And so I got to know Wade also through the trans community, and well, actually, that's how we got to know Monica, is through the trans community and through us and so on. And that's been such an amazing journey for him. I had the privilege of performing their wedding for them up here in Mendo, and it's also, I have a connection with Wade through the whole, not the Goa community, but the Ibiza community in Spain. So he was very international in that way. And it was just an amazing thing to have the breadth of his awareness and the breadth of but his service without any desire for reward or any desire for acknowledgement is kind of the key thing. And it's one of those things that, we're forever thankful for him. And, somehow his last name is so appropriate, His laughter was just such an elemental part of his thing, just that really wonderful, laugh that he had, and his just being there for all of us in our moments when we needed it. And it was just such a privilege to be a friend with him and share the time. And and Monica also is a friend independently. I knew Monica from other things too, and so we've been really, and Nikki especially has been really, talking with Monica. We want to make sure we keep supporting her, but also allow her growth into her new future and support that as someone who came along at exactly the time and the love they had. They built a whole little community up there, and it was just an amazing thing to watch them create that, and the science that he carried on through that. So anyway, it's just thank you for letting me be here and speak a little part, and just to see the people on this call that I know and even the people I don't know, just the ways that we as a cannabis community have to carry on in that, and I know we all will. And I know that our minds are connected through the third eye and through our compassion and through our just joy in living and joy in sharing what this plant can truly have. And, we just want to thank Wade for being part of our whole community and being one of our guiding lights. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Swami. Appreciate your kind words. And there's all sorts of great interviews. And I wouldn't even call them interviews. I'd call them dialogues and conversations with Wade and Swami that you can, I'll actually put them, I'll go find them and link them in the description of this video so that if you are watching this, you'll have another rabbit hole to head down. There's all sorts of great Wade Laughter content out in the world that is not here on Hash Church. We were certainly lucky to get a lot of it, though. And yeah, what a blessing to just have, I always looked forward, especially towards the end, maybe the last, I don't know, 20 or so episodes. I just looked forward to Wade closing out Hash Church with his words of wisdom. He just had really great words of wisdom. Yes, absolutely. Just got a text from Kelly. I think that's a good idea. Valerie, I'd love to hear from you. It's nice to see you. Thanks so much for showing up. And we'd love to hear how things are for you and some of your words about Wade, Monica.
Good morning. Hi. Wade was a member of our board of directors and would show up in person occasionally. Maybe he'll do that today. There's always a bit of a surprise for him to make that journey. I think for me, Wade is the epitome of being so full that sharing it was simple for him. It was when you're that full and that rich, just what falls off of you is enough to carry you forward. It's, reciprocity is interesting because an interesting concept because, we're thirsty fish. We feel often like we don't have enough. And Wade really understood the dynamic of sharing in a way that's that makes you feel full when he gives, and understanding how full he is as well, that there's nothing lost. I mean, if you have a little, you share a little. If you have a lot, you share a lot. That's something that unfortunately is not being spoken loudly enough today. So maybe, in Wade's passing, we're all talking about it. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about how much someone else gave, this perfect model of generosity, of service. And it reminds us that we've got plenty. And it's hard, I think empathy is a very interesting concept. And I think it's very rarely something that we feel. Like, how do I feel another person's pain? I can feel compassion, and I can feel grief at watching the suffering of another. But the willingness to step in the arena of that space, and the willingness to take a hand and embrace another person when they're suffering, and you really can't do much about it. I mean, pot is great, don't get me wrong, but it can put a veil between, as you guys all know, I'm saying the obvious, it can put a veil between the suffering, and can take the suffering out of the pain, maybe. But I think that when you're truly in a great deal of pain, there's another place that you go to. And Wade went to that place, and he brought a little bit of that exquisite nature back and gave that to those around him. And my heart breaks for Monica, I know, for all of us that love him as well. I did not know that. I actually thought Wade was going to be on House Church today. So I guess he kind of is. And I did not know that he had jumped out of here until last night when I read your general email, Marcus. Because you think sometimes people just, no matter what, and cancer's very unkind and very cruel master. It can be the kind of pain that people go through and experience. But he took from that. I don't know how it felt for him. I know that suffering hurts. I know that pain hurts. But he took something precious from that place and gave it to me and to our board and to the people that we serve. And I'm really grateful to have known him and to bring him into my life, and to not just dedicate, just about House Church, but not to only dedicate this moment to him, but to also recognize that he has a great deal of teaching left for all of us. That anytime someone can be so selfless, it's truly inspirational. And he found humor. I mean, in that suffering, he still laughed. So I'm super grateful to know him, and super happy that I get to carry him with me. And I really appreciate being here with all of you. This is the church part. I'm not a big church person, so this is the church part, the community, the place where people come together without dogma, but with love and sincerity. Some dogma is good. I'm just a little dogma, a dash of dogma for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I guess. But for me, I'm constantly reminded, like, I don't want to belabor this, but I'm reminded that the fullness that we are, where we're going to get filled up, how much hunger we have, for more. And I do. I'm human. I'm stuck in this skin. I mean, for now, but the hunger that we have is fathomless, and that it can't get full. It can't get full up of the stuff, but you can get filled up with the love and the laughter, for sure. And that's like the great gift Wade gives and reminds me of. I can hear him, and I know we all can. I don't. And what a special fucking treat to have this man drop into our lives and be so generous. And you sometimes think, well, he's always giving, and what does he need? And I think, this is the after part. This is the after party when somebody goes and we all give the oodles of mush. But really, it's the big vacant space that he leaves, the big hole that never gets filled. It gets to move on, and we get to step in. So we all got a lot of work to do to fill that place. And everybody has something that we can give. Everybody does. Not to be believed that we don't. So I don't want to talk too much about and take out the quality of what this man gave, because he would probably laugh. But thank you for inviting me today. And yeah, I thought I was going to church and I was going to a funeral, and I did not know that. So Wade's a jewel. Excuse me.
And you're a jewel too, Valerie.
Yeah, Valerie.
You're a true
Sorry.
jewel.
I think so. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's
if people don't know Valerie, yeah, it's so good to hear you speak.
It's better to better to get rid of stuff. So otherwise people have to deal with it when you do leave. It's such a pain in the ass stuff, all that stuff to deal with. It really is. I mean, what's precious is not this. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you
so
for leading by example too, Valerie. You have been an inspiration to all of us here, and you are a living legend in all of our hearts. So thank you for being here. You being here helps soothe our soul a little bit. And you're correct. We have a lot of work to do to fill up the space that he left in our hearts, because
That's
wow,
right.
it was huge. But thank you. You're owed a debt of gratitude and love as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we do have a lot of work. So, and that's the thing, too, just if you know somebody in need, distance isn't that big of a deal. Distance can always be filled, but if you know someone in need, then just get in touch and we can together fill space, the emptiness, with Wade's laughter and his love. So, and to honor Wade and to bow to that great spirit that he is, and to take that moment to reflect on him and what he gives still. That's pretty big when people still give and they leave and they're still giving. That's pretty big.
It's no small
Wade,
feat. Go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to say, Wade was a real true fighter, and he truly believed in the medicine in such a way that was so powerful. When he came on, I think Marcus had stepped off for a moment to tell us all that he was going to fully embrace the medicine on his journey through what he was going through with cancer. And those are choices that you're deeply rooted in your soul with. And these are not things that are influenced by other medicines or other people. These are deeply seated decisions that you make within your spirit. And that's a very powerful thing to choose to do that. And, Wade taught us all a lot about showing up and how to show up, who to show up for, what to stand up for. And it's hard to put these things in the words for me, but I believe that Wade is still here telling us to keep going, in all the ways that I know all of us here on this panel here are, where we're pushing the medicine and we're pushing ourselves to honor that medicine and be the vessel and the person that is taking it to the person. And Wade was the guy that with his last gram would give it to the person that was more deserving of it and needed of it in his eyes. And that's something that is wholly unique in today's world. We do not have people like that in the droves. We have very, very less than 1% of people around us are like that. And what Wade was consistently doing, and consistency, I think, is also another word. Over the years, he's helped people get through so much, and that you can't even put into words. I mean, you have individual stories of main characters of their own lives that he is helping write the narration behind the scenes, so to speak. And that's, you know, it's very difficult to say that any one person has done that in their lifetime, let alone many individuals. So I feel lucky and honored to have shared time with Wade. And I think we all have so much to continue holding that torch up to in work to do. In today's climate, we have a lot riding against that. But I think that word fighter always gives me a good, a lot of perseverance and help and lights a fire under me to want to keep going, because it's a hard climate. This is hard to help people in our world around us today. And if you put that first, it just becomes easier. Marcus said it earlier. It's when you try too hard when it all kind of falls apart. But when you just embrace yourself, your being, the emotion that you have behind that certain feeling, and don't judge it, you're free to explore and be someone like Wade was, where you're standing up for what you believe in immediately, all the time, every time. And there's, again, I thank Wade so much for being that light and being that elder. I just, it's amazing we got so much time with him. And, I would have loved to learn more about his cultivation practices and all the things that he's experienced. Because again, remember, he was an indoor grower through such hard, crazy times, and then converted into this other world, right? I mean, these are completely different worlds, but his knowledge, I mean, I didn't know he was a part of the Ibiza, like I have friends over there too. It's an amazing place. So much more to talk about, so it's just, look at that smile, man. And we've lost at least I mean, I've lost so much this year. I felt like, there's been a lot of like, why me's, but I think through this experience, we're learning to kind of build tools for ourselves. And I think him showing us how to show up, I think, again, going back to that, we all have just so much to bring to the table, and we have to bring it, because that's what he would want. He would want us to bring that to the table and stay there, bringing the conversation, bringing the light, talking about patients, advocating for those patients, those people that are in need. But yeah, that's how I saw him, man. He was a guiding light of truth, just like how to show up, how to be present, how to fight for yourself and for others. And we're just all lucky to have that, and I know I am. So thanks for letting me speak on it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing with us today, Colin. Definitely always appreciate hearing. I know you've lost a lot this year, dude. Holy smokes. It's been a lot. Losing my father about 20 years ago now was kind of my first real deep loss. And I feel loss so differently after those years of learning to experience, I guess, learning to live with grief, right? Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people don't want to live with grief, and they get stiff with it. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
no, it's just like it's the grief dance. If you loosen up a little bit, it's much more enjoyable. If you stiffen up, it's very uncomfortable. And that took me at least 7 or 8 years to learn after the passing of my father. I was younger too, in my 30s. But it's sure nice to join, sit here with everyone and listen to you speak on Wade. It was really nice to hear Forrest's words and Swami and Valerie and everyone else that spoke. We got Eric just popped in a little while ago. It's been a long time since I seen you, homie.
And Joey B over there with the
And Joey
sneakers
B.
and the boots, and you guys got the full.
Beautiful
We got
Wade
now we got the
altar.
Sam doll, and now we got the hat,
Uh,
boots.
Hat.
Holy crap, this is power.
He's at the Ridge Sesh. Love to hear from you guys.
Love you guys.
Yeah. Monica came yesterday to the Ridge Sesh and brought Wade's boots and suspenders and hat and this picture of him for our altar. And it was really special to have her here. And we really missed having Wade here. He was going to come. He was planning to come. Anyway, Monica said it might be his last outing. And so we were really planning on having him here and getting everything together and setting up a little a nice couch area for him to chill at. And so I was actually going to the thrift store to figure that stuff out. And then I heard the news, and so it really kind of shocked us, just because we were in such preparation mode and kind of gearing up to hang out and stuff. So that was really a tough pill to swallow, but we held him as close to us as we could in spirit here at the Ridge Sesh, and having Monica here was great, but it definitely was a little bit of a void because the first Ridge Sesh we did here 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, we dedicated to Wade and did a fundraiser for him, and the amount of medicine and donations and things that we had was a huge case. I've never seen anything like it. So as much as Wade has been a giver and donating and an advocate for the community and things like that, it was really awesome to be able to collect some stuff for him and send him home with some goodies, whether he used them or liked them all or not. It was an insane amount of donations, and so it was really fun to see the smile on his face to go home with that bounty. And yeah, we really are gonna miss him, but we were glad to have the party here and hold him in spirit.
Yeah, it was really a sweet day yesterday, just getting to hear so many people telling their stories of Wade, and having Monica stop by. It was really, really good for her. She brought this beautiful picture of Wade, who's really young here. This happy farmer in front of his garden, and and we were just loving him up and loving her up, and she's still so in love with him, and he's still so here with us. She was saying he used to ride a Harley, and oh, he's such a badass, and oh, he's just, the more we learn about him, just the cooler he gets, and we're just so lucky to have him here with us, and the time we got to spend here with him, and yeah, he really represents the best of this community. They're really the best that we all try to put forth, and he's going to be so missed. And yeah, there was a lady from the local radio station going around yesterday interviewing people to hear all their stories about Wade. I know they're putting together a big tribute to Wade, so he did a lot for this community here in Nevada County. He really helped pass an ordinance here and bring regulation that essentially put him out of business. And he knew it was the right thing to do for the people. And I mean, yeah, we love him. He's such the inspiration for all this. And yeah, it was just, sorely missed in person, but was so here with us in spirit. So
Yeah. Yeah, I actually met Wade in 2017 when Kelly and Josh sent me to his house to do the Dragonfly Earth Medicine inspection for certifying his farm. And so I've known of Wade for a while and was familiar with him, and I'd smoked the Harlequin and I've heard of the strain. And those kind of things, but I'd never met him in person. So when I went to the farm, I got to check out his whole scene and really get to dive in. And we became friends after that. I ended up judging the Emerald Cup for several years. So I went over to Wade's house and had him help me judge a category many years ago. And I think he was thrilled to do that. He loved having all those samples of weed to look at, and just the bounty of smoke sitting there before him was enjoyable and a little bit overwhelming at the same time. So it was good fun. And then he had Sunday hash holiday at his house quite a few times. And so I was able to attend one of them where we just went to Wade's house in the back, and he had a bunch of people over, and we just smoked hash most of the day. And it was a great time. And being able to watch Hash Church and seeing Wade on Hash Church and the things that he had to contribute and stuff like that was always awesome. And one of my favorite things Wade always said before or after you saw him was "Blessed be." That was always his first or last saying when I'd see him. But yeah, Nevada County is really going to miss him. I'm sure everybody else is too, but Nevada County's been really showing up, and the Nevada County Alliance, the supervisors and people in town, like he made an impact on pretty much everybody, whether it was, government side to the homies or whatever. Like he made a powerful, positive impact.
Of that, there is no doubt. Can I share a few of these photos, Forrest, that you sent me? Be okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, Forrest
I
has just
saw
been
you
sending me
putting
these
some
great.
out, so I thought I'd
Yeah.
text you a few.
No, I appreciate it, dude. Go ahead. I'm gonna share the photos.
Well, I was just saying yes, but if you let me talk again, look out. I'll start talking.
Please talk.
Wade, some of us would get in the room, and you guys know, you've been in Hash Church, you've heard me ramble, you've heard Wade go in his poetic longings. Boy, those rooms get a little hash involved, and all of a sudden they go, right? But if I'm going to jump in, I just want to say, Valerie, how much I appreciate hearing your voice again. I actually text you too. Valerie probably doesn't remember this because she's one of those people who helps everybody who comes across them. But while Wade and I were working in the Caladrius network together, there was a point where I experienced the challenge of the difference between dealing with my own child's mortality, and as we were donating to other terminally and catastrophically ill kids dealing with their mortality. And frankly, just to be blunt, dealing with death, that present and that persistent. And yeah, Valerie and I had some conversations. I don't remember where it was. It might have been when we were in Sacramento during one of those trips, or Santa Cruz, I don't know. But I was just talking about it, and some of the words that you told me that day, and I won't go into it, about your experience and Venda Life Care, the things that you did for people, and kind of taught a young me what I was getting into in very few words, shortened to the point, and how you perceive that experience of people passing. Those things have stuck with me forever. Like Wade's example, it's one of those things that one of those periods in my life where I embraced it and then really tried to apply it. And I bring it up here. Well, one, because I don't get a chance to say thank you often. But two, because it ties into the last week, last 14 days, last month, last 2 months with Wade and his experience as well. And we would speak, I have an alarm that goes off. It's actually going to go off in 2 minutes because it goes off at 10:30 every day. That is my call Wade reminder, check in on Wade. And those daily kind of conversations, those lessons that we learned through helping others really allowed me to steer our conversation away from just another update on Wade's health, which I felt could be harmful, not beneficial for him. I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but when someone, every time they get on the phone, they feel they have to go relive their trauma and tell you about everything that's been happening and give you the full update. And I would just say, hey man, how many times have you told this story about how miserable your day was today? Like, 6, 7, everyone who calls, let's focus on other things. And get him to steer that conversation to, sorry, short version, what did you want out of life, right? Where did you get on those things? Steering the conversation in a way that my goal was to try and help him see that he was successful in what he communicated to me that he wanted out of life, which was, to have an impact, to be remembered, to influence others in their giving. He didn't say this, but it felt like, to leave a legacy. And his into life conversations with me were heavily influenced by lessons I learned from Valerie and other people along the way. And it allowed us to be present enough to hopefully halfway. Oh, there it is. I'm not going to turn the alarm off because now I just think of Wade when it goes off. It allows us to get to a point in our conversations where hopefully, I don't know, but the goal was for him to just really be at peace with accepting the fact that he didn't, right? And owning that, because even to his last day, anyone who talked to Wade, he felt like he's still got something to do, right? There's someone to help. I've got to work towards this. I can't relax. I've got to keep going, right? And I really wanted to work with him and get him to that point of taking that third person perspective at his life and just being proud of what he did and seeing that he achieved his goals. He's going to leave a legacy. He's impacted thousands of lives. He's inspired thousands of others to do important good works. All those sort of things, like that time I had at the last few weeks with my friend, people in this room, and that's why I brought it up, Valerie, you were there on my shoulder, kind of guiding me from lessons you taught me 7 years ago that you probably don't even remember. It's just some kid conversation and talking about donating to terminally ill kids, right? And teach me about death. I don't know. I felt I just needed to share that. There's no other point other than that. Just then to show how impactful this community is and these relationships are and how much it's benefited all of us. And my lessons from Wade have benefited others. My lessons from that I've taught from Valerie influenced the end of Wade's life and our relationship. These things are all tied together, and none of them feel big in the moment. If someone's out there thinking like, well, this is just, I couldn't do this. I couldn't have a life like this. None of the things Wade did, none of the conversations we have that might be impactful were huge, giant works. They're all just little consistent moments of being present, teaching, being compassionate, and being given. And all of them are relatively simple, but it's the consistency and how they add up that makes this huge impact that influences every moment of my life. So I just wanted to share that and say thank you, Valerie.
Excuse me for butting in here again. I want to say that it is a great honor to be invited to somebody's deathbed because you get to be with the teacher, and sometimes we forget that we're always with our teachers. All of our experiences with others are an opportunity to awaken something, because I can think of myself like a judgy bitch. I think like I know something, and not so true. I mean, I might know something for myself, but there are 8.5 billion people on the planet, and that I think is very sobering because you it to be 1/8.5 billionth of importance, but like 100% to myself. But these are the legacies are the things that, like, we're all talking about how Wade changed our lives, but not just ours, countless people, and how he always had so much to give and still doing it. That's pretty fucking big, and such a great opportunity and gift to have been his friend. So, like when we sit with people who are dying, we're just there. I don't pretend to know anything about death. I'm good at wiping butts and, can flush an IV and help in that way, but I don't pretend to know more than that. I'm hoping it's going to help me when I die, but I don't know. If that was tomorrow, I'd probably be doing the tuna, because I don't, you rely on your practice, and whatever that is, what I think Wade would, in my opinion, what Wade is saying to me is to practice, to do it, to show up. And Swami's nodding, of course, because you totally get that. But yeah, it's that's what it is. And this is what it is. This is what we're doing. And we just happen to have bumped into each other in this crowded planet filled with angels too, that we can't see, that remind us to act wisely and to be generous and to be of service. So yeah, I don't pretend to know. I probably was trying to say something. Not sure for us. But
I always think about, I've seen a lot of babies into the world, thousands of babies in the world. And when they come into the world and they take that first breath, and the feeling in the room of just joy, even no matter what the situation was, even if it was a teenage pregnancy or this baby wasn't wanted or something, there's this exuberant welcoming on this side when a child comes in. And I truly believe it's the same when somebody takes the last breath. There's that same incredible exuberance on the other side of everybody welcoming. And I love to think about the team that's on the other side for Wade. It's a party, trance dance, a lot of good weed, a lot of hash, because as much as he made a difference on this side, he's making even more of a difference on the other side.
He's fractaled his teachings through all of us, which I do believe he is going to continue to teach us. And as I was sitting here, I saw this raven fly over, and it just banked with the sun hitting the back of its black feathers, and it shimmered. And sometimes when ravens fly over, their wings just go whoosh, 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 whoosh. You can just hear the wind on the feathers. And I just really felt Wade in the sky looking over us right now. And I just really love the idea that he's everywhere and he's all of us. And I mean, here I have this shirt, House of Harlequin. You can say anything on a shirt. It says attitude of gratitude. Every single day, there's an attitude of gratitude. And I feel that gratitude every day. And every one of these people here, there you go. Thanks, Marcus. I mean, look how magical, shapeshifter, mystical being with, man, I mean, thanks. And Wade can embody that in this moment, and be free and fly through the air in that way, so I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for that transmission and that transition. But I'm so grateful for him joining our community and projecting it to the world. And I mean, he was a big part of our Pure Certified community, and every one of our farmers were impacted by working with him and through him. And again, Monica holding the space for the whole thing. I mean, what a magical being. So, and thank you, Wade, for showing up like you did.
I love
Now, I'd
that
like to
picture.
chime in again also a little bit to say that any one of those of our teachers who passes on to the next dimension is still teaching us. And Nikki and I have had several of our really dear friends over the last 4 or 5 years pass, and one of them even Kitty even said, watch me die and learn. And so all those transitions, we know, as you just said, brought up Kelly, that the birth is one entrance and the death is another entrance, and that this is the cycle and we all face it. And, I am now 82 and I keep watching my dearest friends pass on to the next dimension. But what I've also learned is once they are in that other dimension, they are with all of us simultaneously. When you're in the physical flesh, you can only be with one, two, or three, or four. But when you're in the higher dimension, you can be simultaneously in all of our minds and all of our hearts and all of our spirits. And that is a higher level of sharing. And I also want to note on this video screen now the people that I do know and have known for years, and the people I didn't know that they were also close to Wade, right? That he had so many branches in so many different ways. Michael Kravitz. Hello, Michael. I mean, it's like we've known each other for a while, and Wade was also part of the Origins Council, Regional Council. He was working on that level, right? And Eric Branstad, in the Emerald Cup. Well, that thing and Etienne, all these ways in which the threads that all connect us and they still will connect us. And we are in that consciousness. And we know that this sacred weed, this sacred flower, which has been part of one of our teachers for over 20,000 years of human development and probably more than that. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our whole awareness. And the sacred plant is what we rally round. And all of those people who are practitioners of the sacred plant, we need to keep putting that message out that this is a divine gift. And it is through that our consciousnesses are connected. With cannabis, it's very easy to get to the sixth chakra and a telepathic communication. But once we're in the sixth chakra of universal communication, we then have to go on up into the higher realms and truly become one with spirit. And we know that Wade is in that and all those other people of our dear friends who are there. And we celebrate that and we honor them. And it's just really wonderful to share this moment. And I hope to meet some of you who are also on this call that I don't know and share and continue our journey forward and our work together. So thank you very much for all being here. And especially for you, Marcus. You've just done such a long time work with this. It's truly amazing. And all the people that you've brought together through this, all the knowledge you've shared. Yes, just thank you.
Oh, thank you as well, Swami. And I always appreciate hearing from you. It always clicks and makes good sense for me when I hear you speak. So appreciate you coming in. I wanted to welcome Alice. She just popped in. She was in the chat for a little bit. I said, hey, maybe you want to come and say something nice about Wade. And she said, absolutely. So welcome, Alice. How are you?
Thank you all so much. It's like an honor to be among all of you. I mean, I was like internet buddies with Wade, but I have to say that nowadays in this like contemporary world, I mean, he was my friend too. I would say that I learned a lot from him. I always like to like pull it to the educational part, and I feel like I heard all of you saying how much Wade changed so many people's lives, and the perspective I've have is that he's gonna keep changing because education and connection like this lives forever, and it's way more impactful than like than our physical form. So it's a blessing to look at all of you, so many that have been like teachers in my life, and know that Wade is gonna like live forever within all your words, all the knowledge. And if I can make anything to help Wade's words like keep living. Like that's gonna be a part of my job too. I really hope that he's like smoking some very good, clean dry sift, looking at us right now and feeling all our blessings. So I just appreciate being here. Short words for me. I'm just like blessed to be able to have known Wade in this like form. And I'll say that probably since I was like probably 18, 19 years old, when I was like first starting to watch Hash Church, like he has taught me so much, and especially to respect the people that have paved the path for us to be able to be here today. So much love to Wade, good friend. And that's it. Thanks, Marcus, for inviting me to be here today.
Absolutely, Alice. Well, listen, if he's hanging out with this guy, he's absolutely smoking the greatest of dry sift. So I just always love going back to these two photos of Wade and David Watson together. That's I love that life allowed for them to cross paths. Even though it was closer to the end for both of them, it didn't take away any of the power of those two people crossing paths.
It was an amazing day that's watching the two of them, and it was like such a critical time that they were, yeah, they really enjoyed being together. It was funny. It was like seeing people that were, very old friends. They were meeting for the first time. It was quite remarkable.
They had to do that physical touch in so they could meet each other on the other side.
I think they had to do that so they could recognize each other. So Wade at least knew what David looked like. The doll might not have recognized him on the other side. So
a lot of times someone's
check in,
waiting there for you as you're passing on. And so many times you're dying, you hear about like a car pulling up and someone saying, "Hey, get on in," and I don't know, there's something sort of comforting about that for me. And also maybe it's an animal, like maybe it was one of your close dogs or cats or horses that was honestly, it's there for you, to bring you in. And even in, Hindu and different ceremonies, I mean, you ride off in a bull, in a funeral pyre and stuff. And that's really powerful, symbolism, I feel. And anyway, it's nice to see you, Tamara, as well, down there at the Ridge Sesh, and a healer and a compassionate witch and loving woman in the community as well. Here we are out here carrying on the legacy of our amazing elders, which there's such beautiful examples on the screen. It's nice to see everyone else coming in, so we love you and it's nice to see you.
And I just wanted to say one quick thing before we hear from Tamara, because I know that you were good friends with Wade and your relationship was sweet. He just touched a lot of our lives. We had to question and talk to him. He always had the answers to a lot of things, but I just know that David had the good hookups. So, it's like when you're crossing the border or you're going to another country, you got to make sure to call the friends that has got the hookups, because you've been traveling or you've been in Bardo for many days. And I just love the idea of David being on the other side with some sweet dry sift, like Alice was just saying, like, "Hey, Wade, welcome."
And some good fruit, or something.
Yeah. So, Tamara, love to hear from you.
Honoring Wade is definitely a part of my path. I feel like he was such a precursor to what I'm doing right now and where I see my path is, like really studying deeply into the cannabinoids and terpenes. And he was just that person who made it possible. And so for me, it's just kind of like one of my gurus, like one of those people. I'm still like learning about everything he has done. And it's still kind of hidden. But like I said, I definitely feel we can tap into those other dimensions and have talks if we need to with him. And one of our favorite experiences when we got to go and see Wade at his house, and we went over there and I was like, wow, this is like a permaculture paradise. He had the pond. It was just so amazing. I was like, wow, this is living. This is what I we want, exactly where I would see Wade at, and he was really fun. Yeah, I love that he kept his like fun joy every bit, of it. And yeah, he was just an amazing teacher for myself. So, and so many others. Yeah, just so much honor and respect for everything that he did. He'd lived a life well lived. And so I honor that. And that's so beautiful.
Someone just wrote in chat, Wade just needs to follow the trail of wooden matches to find Sam. And I would love to see that as a drawing or a creation, because that put a smile on my face.
I'm going to sign off, everyone. It's been great to be here with you and share this with Wade and you and all. And I hope to connect up with any of you that I haven't connected before and reconnect with all those other folks. So much love to you all and blessings. And you know what? Keep up the good message and the good energy and the love.
Thank you, Swami.
Love you, Swami.
Much love, Swami.
We're coming for you soon.
Blessed be, Swami.
Blessed be. Blessed be. Another fragment I would say that Wade added to was just the creation of Project CBD as a educational platform, and helping create, and then it's been continued on, but Project CBD is a pretty intensive, I would say, website, very informational. I believe it's been translated into Japanese as well, because they're helping, get cannabis normalized in Japan as well, which is important. And also, just being connected to Fred Gardner and O'Shaughnessy's and those older, not old, but, let's say influential publications from the time. And, just very powerful, just to be able to be of the earth and to be a medicine man, but also, of the type of education that we resonate with. Because, let's say it, not all education is very interesting, and so when it comes to the ones that are, it's impactful, and it's life-changing. So those are the kinds of the elders and teachers that we look for, and that's how you get through those hard days, is just remembering that the path has been laid out, and there's a timeless quality to how to live life, and maybe how to create sacred commerce and create commerce that you can believe in, which still has soul and still has love attached to it, along with the money that it takes to live every day. And that's what I see within this community is super adaptogenic, regenerative, souls, which are constantly revisiting, themselves and the information, but also retaining that quality of that timeless, like, nature, that we are nature, and that we are only going to continue getting better when we ally with those compounds. I'm not saying that there's other compounds that may not work, but that, it's the natural ones that really support the earth and support our biome. And every conversation that we ever had with Wade, it was super important to him to keep that type of quality going in his life, and then to be able to live out your whole entire life with that as your guide. That's what resonates with me personally, I can say, and continuing the work. And in that way, I have never ending energy to continue that path, and to stay connected to the ancient wisdom and the timeless knowledge, but also to be very open to, new world, in the way that it's going to take learning new things in order to move forward. So a lot of good qualities there we've learned from, and here we go, and the next day, and continuing the process. So much love, fam.
Thanks for the good words, Josh. Always appreciated, for sure. I just had a gift of watermelon brought to my side. Organic watermelon. Ooh, for the win. You guys laughing at it.
Tanner's like, why do you have to show off his
Because I
photo?
want to show off my watermelon. Come on. They want to see my watermelon. I know they do. Okay, maybe I'm not. Maybe not.
Hey, we got to jump off, you guys. We're still packing up and breaking down here, but we love all you guys and just honored to be here with you all celebrating Wade, and looking forward to seeing all your smiling faces soon, and we'll all be burning it up for our brother up there. So
Absolutely.
much love, y'all.
So blessed we all got to know him. So blessed.
Yeah.
And
Thanks
just
for
to say,
coming, guys.
lovely event yesterday, y'all. It was beautiful, and there was a lot of dry sift. So hopefully Wade was there with us too.
Oh, we was. We had all of his possessions too with us there. So did y'all saw this picture? Oh, I love it. So did that one again.
All right. Love y'all.
We
Much
love
love.
y'all. Blessings.
Thanks,
Much
guys.
love.
Seems
One of
like John.
our,
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to check in. One of our VAC members, Michael Krawitz, is on, and Wade has been part of our group for the past 4+ years, helping us. Michael, would you like to say a few words?
I wrote notes in the chat and I can't read them. There's too many. I love you all.
Love you too, Michael.
Wade's passing hit me hard. This has been a hard year, but Wade's passing hit me hard. I think it hasn't even hit the Better Action Council yet, and that hasn't even happened yet. It's just a few of us that are in the loop, sort of, that are experiencing it in advance. Wade, he really appreciated the there was a lot of things about the Veterans Action Council that Wade appreciated. Excuse me. That Wade appreciated. One of the most, I think, was just the ability to see behind the curtain. We have in our ranks in the we were just on the phone with a Veterans Service Organization leader, national leader, who noted the fact that just about all social movements have been led by veterans, military veterans, and cannabis movement is certainly no exception. Our leaders, Jack Hare, Dennis Perone, Timothy Leary, et cetera, et cetera. We're all military veterans, and I think he appreciated the peek behind the curtain. We're coming together. We've got, what did you tally up, Etienne, the other day? We had on a call with like 5 people. We had 135 years of experience in the movement. Yeah, so we're working on stuff at a level that is like, I joke about it, but it really is. It's like being in the map room. And for those that don't know, out there in the world, there's always a map room. Whatever battle it is, there's always a map room. And the map room is got a handful of people in it that know what's going on. And there's little pins on little boards that represent maps or strategic interests or resources, like the famous cannabis heirloom. That Wade brought to us. And anyway, in that room, you're rubbing shoulders with world leaders. You're rubbing shoulders with personalities that anybody that has access to the map room. And it's mostly a meritocracy. I'll say that for the cannabis map room. That might not compare too well with other map rooms, but ours is pretty much a meritocracy. Over the years, those have gotten a peek in or worked in the map room have been those who really earned it, earned that space, earned that knowledge. And it's very protected. And there's very few people in the map room like me or like Wade that would share it with you, that would even tell you that it exists. And I think it's important. I think it's important for connectivity. That grounding wire experiment that sticks in my brain because it's a matter of connectivity. It's a matter of making sure that the person out there who just smoked the joint for the first time and loved it, and the person who created Harlequin can communicate with each other in some ethereal way and have that be substantive. That's a functioning map room. And I just feel like he really appreciated that. He talked many times about the fact that he was able to share with us and be with us in a consistent manner, and feel like everybody there was so equal and had their space conserved and could work as a group together with no, as you were saying before, no expectation. It was something that he reveled in and really appreciated. And I think he appreciated the consistency of it as well. We meet very often. We give space to any veteran that comes in that wants to have our collective imagination at their disposal, with a little AI thrown in these days. And yeah, much love, Wade. Much love.
I just want to jump in and share that Wade's work with your Veterans Council was a huge source of pride for him. That someone on the outside, when we would check in, right? It's like, what are you doing? What are you up to? Every time, without fail, those phone calls, those meetings, the work he's doing with your veterans group, Etienne, Mike, was top of the list of something that we would talk about, right? What you're up to, what he's doing, and the pride that he felt from that was just evident on his face and in his tone of voice. And I just want to share that in your circle, you guys got to experience it, but outside of that, it was something that he was really proud of and shared with his friends. And I loved hearing updates about the work you were doing.
We carried him with us every time we went to the UN. We would have meetings outside and we would speak with him, and he was always a pillar for us. He will be beyond missed.
Let him flow, brother. Let him flow.
I had one other thought in my little list here that I'd like to talk about, especially because Swami kind of touched on it as well. I've always felt like my work in the cannabis movement is led by a string, and it's the string I connect to. I search out and I find and I follow. Sorry, I get emotional over weird shit. That string has taken me where I would have never believed I would go, where I never would have believed that I could see what I've seen, experience what I've experienced. And I just think, like I'm like, Marcus, I really agree with you. You can't be envious about what you're not able to do. I've always tried to do that. I've really tried hard to just close my mind to any thoughts about, the shit that I'm missing. Because I'm not missing anything. I'm supposed to focus on what's in front of me. And I'm super glad that string brought me Wade. I could see, it's like Etienne and I, we're both following the string. I mean, dutifully. We're dutiful soldiers in this cannabis movement. been so for decades and decades and decades. And we followed the string. And when we're now working together so closely, we see time and time again how close we were. I mean, back to back. Like, there were so many times that I was so close to Wade and so close to meeting him, so close to sharing a space, and I didn't get to do it then. And I can see that now. And I try not to be envious of that, and or whatever you would call that, and just value the time that I did have, and value the experience that I did have, and keep pressing forward, because that's what he would want, and that's what he reveled in.
Well, I think it's appropriate that we're all crying today because Wade cried on Hash Church so much. And just like all of you, he then apologized for it. And then, just like me, I would say, don't apologize. Don't be sorry. It's okay. We're allowed to be sad in the moment. Sometimes grief is overwhelming and it makes you cry, makes you emotional. And it's definitely connected to the love we have for the person. You know, that love, it seems like there's a debt to be paid through grief. And I'll happily pay that debt for Wade, as he helped pay so many people's debts, metaphorically. Haven't heard from you, Johnny B, driving in your car for the entire show. What are you doing, man?
You know what? I'm listening and just appreciating everybody here today. It's like every day is an attitude of gratitude. I was able to be blessed with Wade's blessings over the last a little while, especially here at the end, and be able to do a lot of research on the man of what he's created and what he's about. One thing about Wade is when difficulty comes, he moved to Action State and he took care of things, right? He helped patients and other people. And watching what we all do here as a community, we live on what Wade's created, and we live through that. He's always with us, and everybody here is, expressing all the great times that he's created for us and what is going to be coming from what the research that he's done, all the research that we do here as a community, and it's a blessing to be part of the community, to be here with everybody, and seeing the leaps and bounds we're all going to make together, because the research never stops. You know what? We're just scratching the surface, and the ability to move forward with what we've been given, which is the grace of what we've all done together. And Wade just gave, and he gave from his heart. Even just doing a few things and seeing his accomplishments with CBD, and we talked about Fred Gardner and all the research that was coming out of the research in years, and it goes back to like Dr. Paul Hornby and Haley Rose and Cheryl, and the same stories of how this plant has just changed the lives of the younger generations of kids that weren't going to make it to the age of 15 or 16 and are here today because of a simple plant that's saving us. And the education is everywhere. Knowledge is power, and we got to keep that knowledge going and be able to express the knowledge that's been given to us through the people that have left that knowledge, and be able to keep that knowledge going. And that's what we get to do today is, just live in grace and appreciate what we got given, which was the time, the journey we got to spend here together, and appreciate the now and what we've been given, which is the moment together with what we have. I love you guys. I love everybody here. Woo! And I really want to appreciate Wade, because I got to connect with him, and I didn't really get to have the great connection with him. At the same time, I got to feel his heart and see the impact that he's made in this world. Because there's a lot of stuff out there on Wade. Believe me, I've done some research on it. I was doing some stuff here at the end, and I got to really see the grace in that man. Treat everybody here. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey, Wade. I appreciate you. And as he joins our journey together with us wherever we go, he's always in our hearts. He's always in our laughters, and he's always in our dabs. And he's in these tears. We get to share these tears of joy. Like I said, it's going to be a hard one today. And we all get to share these tears of joy and gratitude of what we get, which is now in us. Love you guys all. Appreciate you, Wade. Always with
Thanks,
us.
Johnny B. Thanks for the good words. Sounds like we're getting ready to take a take a dab for
Let me,
Wade. Go
I'm
ahead,
gonna,
please.
I'm going to jump off. Excuse me for interrupting. I'm going to jump off. Thank you so much for, thanks for this. This is, it's touching and beautiful. And Wade, we're all on your tail. We're coming. No way out, but up. Thank you all. And thanks for sharing us. Thanks for sharing that deep space within. It's, for being vulnerable, because we are. Much love and many thanks. And I hope to sit in circle with you, not only virtually, but get high, stay high.
Thank
Be
you.
love and share. Be love and share, right? Just, you got it.
I
Thanks,
think
Valerie.
everyone should know about WHAM as well, because I don't think we, said that word or whatever, but that your organization that you're upholding and what Wade was a part of as a board member, also very powerful. And maybe another time, you can get into what WHAM is, or maybe put a link in there, Marcus, or something. But that's a legacy that's still alive, and Wade was a part of. So I just want to again recognize you, Valerie, in your day-to-day. We all love and appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yep. Open your hand. You give, it gets full.
Love you.
Too much to carry, too much to dust. Love you. Much love and thanks.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Thanks, Valerie.
Thank you, Valerie, for everything you do.
I first met Valerie and Mike at the Watson's house at Skunkman Sam's place in Amsterdam for a dinner. That was very nice to be able to, I don't know, just meet them there. Of all the places in the world we could have bumped into one another. We bumped in at David and Diana's, which is a very special place. Will always hold a special place in my heart. It's unique, it's different. There's amazing people were being invited there, and if you were lucky enough to be one of them, then you got to meet some amazing people and then eat a really delicious, amazing meal as well, which is a win-win in my books. Oh, you're muted, Valerie. If Valerie's still here.
Just
She's
wanted
muted.
to say, don't forget to reach out to Monica and Diana. Time we do in the beginning, but time goes on and hearts, they break and they stay, that well of emptiness remains for Monica and for Diana when they reach over and touch their beloved. So you don't have to jump in bed with them, but give them some love.
I'm just messaging with Diana now, actually. Funny you should mention.
Give her my love.
Well,
Tell her we're all thinking about her and David.
She's in chat and watching. She's chatting along, so say hello.
X.
I've been thinking about you, Diana. So sending a lot of love to you and your daughters, and just through this time, sending a lot of prayers, a lot of love, a lot of light. And Monica, of course, huge, constant. You're in my prayers. I have candles still lit for you, my love.
Should we
Yeah,
pack our
I-
bongs, take a dab, take a bong hit, whatever is the preference for everyone?
Maybe one of
Both
each.
outs.
Welcome, Brian, who just rolled in as well. We're on the other side of the country.
Hi there. So sorry to hear about this. Thanks for having us together.
Absolutely, man. Got to have a space to gather. And well, we're gathering here for the last 11 years on Sundays, Wade for many of them. So why would we not continue? Oh yeah, we're having a dab. What am I gonna dab? Surrounded by dabs. All corners. Surrounded by Shiva. Had to bring out Shiva while Swami was talking about Shiva. Boom
Oh, that's
Shankara.
beautiful, Marcus. That's a
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. I picked this one up in India, like in 1998 when I was at the Maha Kumbh Mela in Haridwar. So I got this in Haridwar. Funny story, actually, because I was traveling with a friend who kind of, for a living, would go to India and buy things and bring them back to Manitoba and get booths and sell them, at the Forks and at these other places. So I went on a trip with him for him to, kind of turn me on to India and inspire me. And I bought like $10,000 worth of stuff and was really excited about it. And then we went from India to Thailand and we put all our stuff in Bangkok at this, at this hotel we had stayed at. It was in this sort of holding room box that we had rented, but it was rented in his name. And we traveled for about a month together in Thailand. And then when he said, "Oh, I'm going to go back and leave," I said, "Oh, goodbye." And he went back to Thailand and grabbed his stuff out of that box. And then I guess he didn't like renew it and put a name on it. So I never saw the stuff that I bought again. I went back to the hotel and it was just gone. They were like, "Oh, no, we don't know. Your friend emptied the box." So this was the only piece of anything that I bought in India that I carried with me and had with me. So yeah, I think it's the perfect amount of stuff. Probably didn't need all that stuff anyway. Enough people doing that. I was happy to just keep this one. So there's always two ways to react in life. You can be super pissed off, which I often react that way, or you can not be super pissed off. And that's the one that I'm working on a daily basis. And if I can just not have an opinion about something, I find that I get much less upset about it. Looks like Dr. Mark just took a nice rip a dip.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm here listening to all this wonderful words about our dear friend, smoking some really good single source material from the trainer here. Let's see, what is this here? This is the
that one's the super booth.
The super booth. Really fruity notes on that.
Blackberry.
And we just did what was that? A chem dog?
Yeah.
We just did some chem dog here. So yeah, what could I reflect on about Wade that hasn't already been said? Loss is profound. Him and Sam, just such a short period of time to lose both of them is a tremendous loss.
Huge loss.
And we just, to show you how precious life is. And Forrest, it's good to see you again. And, remind myself about, what parents like yourself go through and why people like Wade have such a huge and tremendous impact, not just to those patients, but the families that those patients live in. It's tremendous. And, the generosity. And when the laws had changed, it was interesting. They were talking about this earlier, right? He was actually instrumental in the law that ended up, shutting his operation down. I mean, just confounded by this, again, unwillingness to really understand how to properly regulate this medicine for families that, need it and deserve it and should have it. And, to know that all the contribution that he had here on Hash Church, which was great, his humility, we heard his suffering, and just him being on Hash Church was, I'm sure, just, to listen to everybody's voice and to, again, we'll never hear that kind, gentle voice again. And we really lost somebody big. And let's do a rip and remember that it's great to give back and be beneficial in the lives of people by sharing knowledge and he loved to. We had email exchanges where we were talking about, draft of our paper, talked about Delta 8 and whatnot. And he was really inquisitive and really wanted to know and learn more. And was just a kind, bright soul. And yeah, to know that he's moved on to the next realm, I guess, is peaceful, and to that he's not suffering anymore. But yeah, let's do a bong rip for him. I
We will
remember that.
again. We got lots of it recorded here. That's the beautiful thing about church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the wisdom, you get to go back and listen to them again.
Yeah, and shout out to Ed. Ed is kind of one of our local Hash Church interns. He's been going and ripping all of the Sam episodes, all of the Sam, almost all of the time Sam spoke on Hash Church. Ed's working on getting that into a database, and he kind of just hit me up today and he said, "Hey, should I start doing this with Wade?" And I said, "Yeah, I think that's a very good idea." And he also is trying to create a little thing that for the beginning of Hash Church, it would start with Sam going howdy howdy, and then finish with Wade with one of his profound sort of statements. So we're kind of working on that. That's just trying to pay homage to the friends, like Wade and I, we never met in person. Never was lucky enough to sit with Wade and meet him in person, but I certainly don't feel that he was any less of a friend. I got to spend countless Sundays with him and the rest of you all, and just enjoying great conversation, as did so many other people, tens of thousands of people, really, that have also just been sitting around on Sundays listening to this or hitting it on the podcast like later on down the week. So yeah, don't feel that you have to have met Wade for him to have made a massive impact on your life and for you to be able to call him your friend, because I absolutely will call Wade my friend. But we never got to meet each other in person. Me not being able to go to the US was a big part of that.
But he was grateful for you, though. I'll tell you that much. He definitely made an impact on his life. So it goes to show you don't need to do that flesh to flesh. It is nice to connect and touch grass, though, of course. But yeah, like you can definitely make an impact over the digital sphere.
He called you
Absolutely.
brother. He
Yeah.
called you brother. That's all you needed to know. You were
Sure.
there in his presence, in his spirit. You were there with him. So it's okay. You knew him more than people who actually spent time and space with him. So
Yeah.
you got a special side that he was able to show us, and a vulnerability, and he taught us we're all going to die. No one is getting out of here alive. And he took us along on his journey with humility and an openness and a willingness to say, hey, this is what it's gonna look like, people. This is my journey. Yours is gonna be what it's gonna be. But he took us all the way, and I think everybody who has watched Hash Church over the last couple of months have been profoundly impacted by his honesty and humility in an area that society hides from us, right? Nobody teaches us how to die. They teach us all how to live. And I'm forever grateful for him for being unafraid to show us which is true love. That is a level of love that very few people get to see, feel, or hear. And consider yourself very fucking lucky to experience it.
Well said, Etienne. Holding your Sherlock Puffco in the ceramic. Love it. Very debonair. Much appreciated. What about you, Eric? It's been a long time since we had you on Hash Church. It's nice to hear your voice, see your face.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I missed you guys, and I've been kind of checking in every now and then, watching you guys from time to time on the Hash Church and things like that. So it's good to see everybody, and still doing your thing, Marcus. That's awesome. yeah, I'm just getting ready to leave here. The Ridge Sesh, we just wrapped up or almost wrapped up on cleaning it up. So I gotta go over to Monica's and take Wade's boots and suspenders and hat back over to her, and yeah, just we had a great time here. So um, it's kind of hard. It's kind of heartfelt trying to leave and do this hash church all at the same time. It's like, when you leave a big party with all your friends and everybody's kind of coming down, and then you got the whole hash church about Wade going on. I'm feeling a little bit I'm feeling it anyway. So positive, but I'm a little choked up at the same time.
That makes sense. Well, maybe you can give Monica a hug from each one of us here at Hash Church. There's a few of us, but that's nice to know that you're leaving there and going right to see her, and that'll be, I'm sure, a welcome visit.
Yeah, it will be. I know she was really glad to be here with everybody yesterday. She told me when I was walking her over to the altar that she, really felt like she needed to be here amongst all the people, and it was good to get her mind off of things a little bit and be with community and that kind of thing. And so I can't imagine what she's going through, but it was really good to see her be able to show up and be here with the community at the same time and get a bunch of hugs from everybody and stuff like that. So I think it was heartfelt and embracing at the same time. And to finish it off with Hash Church with you guys today has been awesome. And I got to get ready to take off. So big hugs to everybody. Love all you guys. And yeah. Thanks again, Marcus.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up, brother.
Give love,
Appreciate
Josh,
you.
Kelly. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Eric.
Give love to Bridget and the family. And we're always impressed with your beautiful kids out there raging in the world. So nice work. And hope you have a great day and week.
Right on. Well, great, guys. Thanks again. See everybody next time. And blessed be.
Blessed be.
Right on.
Eric, thanks so much for all your work out there. Someone who's spreading always the good vibe. You always show a smile, no matter what.
Thank you.
You always make everyone feel really good to be in your presence, and you're always spreading out the good education, and you've always really been beside the cannabis plant ever since I've known you way, 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 way back when. And just really appreciate your spirit and appreciate who you are in this world. Thanks so much.
Eric, being the place to be.
Right on. Love you guys.
Love
See
you.
you. Bye-bye.
It's wild. Since this all kind of went down, maybe a few days before, maybe 3 or 4 days before, but we have had these 2 humpback whales in the house sound here for like a few days before Wade's passing, and ever since. I saw them last night when I was down at the beach. I saw them, the day before. I think I shared the video of them. I'm not sure if I did, but this video, which was, I believe, on the day of Wade's passing, just a couple of humpback whales just like breaching out of the water. So I never really put the connection together, but yeah, it's I've lived here for almost 30 years and I've never seen this. So it's not something that is happening regularly. We get a lot of orca whales, a lot of dolphins and sea lions, but like humpback whales, yeah, they come, but they don't generally come and feed for like 7 days straight. And so it brought an enormous amount of joy and laughter to the community. I've never walked down to our beach before and seen every single person staring at the water, waiting for the next, oh, ah. It was pretty amazing. So I'm going to connect that to Wade, because of course this whole Wade thing has been going on for this past week. And otherwise, I guess I didn't really get that bong rep that everyone said they were going to get. I saw Dr. Mark smoke his, but I'm going to hit mine. Oh, we got Adam coming in from Wolf Mountain. Those dogs are probably like 600 pounds a piece now, probably close to 20 weeks old. This guy's raising Bengal
I
tigers.
just wanted to say bye, guys.
Thanks.
Oh,
I was
thank
gonna
you, Forrest.
want to say goodbye. I got to run duty calls, but yeah, thanks for having me.
I would just like to say we've been thinking about you every day for the last 6 years, and always thinking about you and Silas. And as much as we're talking about Wade and everything, I mean, you may be one of the most inspirational people like in the world. Like, to be honest, like, you don't have to be anything to be the most amazing person ever. And that the type of dedication that you've given to your son, and then being part of something, which is a whole community of people doing the same thing, it's incredibly powerful.
Amen.
I just really love you, and I really appreciate you, and I just want to just extend like the deepest of gratitude and love to you and your family.
That means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, we're, we all are cogs in the areas that kind of life points us to serve, right? And I've been honored to be in amongst these people with Wade, a lot of the folks here on the panel, Valerie, people who've been able to just role model and help me focus kind of the desire into something that is can manifest in the way that we want it to. And that's something that I take with me. And yeah, I've got to run actually because Silas is in the other room and got some things I need to do with him. He can only tolerate me disappearing for so long. And, look, I'll just end it with this, grief for me isn't an emotion, right? It's a process, and I'm going through it. I know a lot of you are going through it, and it's all sorts of emotions. It's, one second I'm feeling a lot of joy. I'm feeling gratitude. I'm feeling sorrow. I'm just observing that and going through it. And what it reminds me to do, and what's inspired me to do the work that I've done, the work that Wade and I did together, and continue to do it, is as we go through that process of grief, it's also that observation of the reminder that I carried around while they were present with me. That presence is still there. That process of observing is still there. And the lessons I took from Wade and the things that people see in Wade, we can emulate them. We can practice that. Compassion is a skill that needs to be developed, not much different than patience or mindfulness or any other skill. It doesn't just come. What Wade did can be learned. It can be emulated. It can be imitated. It can, you can do it. And, I would just encourage people to try and see how it feels. Respond with kindness. Let shit go. Don't sweat things that don't matter. I know that sounds like, obvious little statements. Easier said than done, right? Most of the things that we spend our time focusing on mean nothing. No one will remember. We're on this rock for a small amount of time. Doesn't matter, right? Take Wade with you in that when you feel yourself expecting someone to behave a certain way. Or if you try to do something kind and you notice that natural reaction of wanting a response. Okay, am I doing this for praise? Am I doing it for myself? Or did I do it for them? Recognize that. It happens to all of us. It's natural. But observe it and think of Wade in that example and practice compassion without expectations. Try it. Do it until you can do it just for the sake of doing it. It's not nothing to feel shameful about. You're not doing anything wrong. Doing good is doing good. Do it with expectations. Better not do it at all sometimes, but try it. Take that with you. That skill can be developed. And as it becomes more and more natural, it just becomes the way that you behave. You just do things without needing recognition for the fact that you did something positive for somebody. Little things. Practice with people in the store. Let them smile at somebody who's having a bad day. Yes, all this stuff sounds like kitties and rainbows and feel good stuff. But a lot of profound things are like that. They sound simple. Love is all we need. Yeah, what the hell does that mean, right? Those profound statements sound simple until you try to put them into very real daily practice. And then you realize how effing difficult it is. And that's why the world's full of very few people who do it. So I'm going to leave today and do what I've been doing. So I was lucky enough to have Wade as one of my good friends in life. And I'm going to continue to try to emulate the things I saw in him that I loved and respected. Just like I steal things from you guys too that I respect and try to emulate those as I try to improve myself as a human being. And, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're kind of like, oh, this all sounds nice, but I don't get it. Well, try it, practice it, set a goal, and you'll start to get it. And not only that, you'll start to see the impact it has on the people around you. Just like we're seeing the impact Wade had on the people around him. So thank you guys. And thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, well, thank you, Forrest. I got to tell you, you look great. I absolutely love the tie-dye. I hope that's your works. But no, we appreciate you, man. The words, what you're saying is very profound and very true in the sense that, when you go on your phone and you go into the social media world, you can get very easily divided. It could be over a bloody vaccine. It could be over anything. It doesn't matter how wise and you think you are. We all get like, but when you do what you're talking about, when you just talk to people in the world, you kind of feel like, I don't feel the same energy that I get from the phone when I actually talk to people and am kind and try to be helpful out in the actual real world. Instead, what I see is that the majority of people are quite awesome. Everyone has some pretty interesting stories, and if you're willing to give them an ear, you can learn a lot instead of, create an opportunity to be pissed off about something or someone, which I've spent enough of my life doing, I think, at this point. That is for certain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again. And I hope to see you guys sooner rather than later.
Awesome. Look at that picture of Wade with the halo behind Adam before you leave. That is awesome, dude.
That is awesome.
Right
Saint
on, Adam.
laughter. Let's go. I mean, Wade is so cool. He was the compassion. I just looked up what does compassion mean because everyone was talking about it so much, and it's to suffer with. And went through a little pain. That's so cool. It's like, oh, compassion is to suffer alongside.
Oh, I know. I really am gonna work on fixing that for sure. Oh, sorry.
It's
Sorry.
all good. Oh,
we have chicken
love
problems.
those
I
vibes.
don't want to bring you into it.
Will you fix everything for us, Josh, real
I'm on
quick?
it. I'm on it. Trust me.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I think that's so cool. And Wade was this. He was this person willing to suffer. He was someone I called when I entered a little pain of mine and internal suffering. And his reaction was to invite me to his home and bring your family to me. And this was so cool. And I wish I would have. I feel like that this is a big regret, but this openness and through his own pain, he maintained this decorum. He would share his voice. I'm so thankful we have hours of recordings of Wade's voice and his teaching so that people will be able to absorb this and bathe in what he would provide, which was very much acoustically soothing. What he was saying was important, and how he was saying was so patient and forgiving, even as he was expressing what he was going through towards the end. And I think everyone has so much love for Wade, and he kind of generated that. He was a vector for that. Pain and suffering is the root or the genesis of our compassion, of our ability to help others, to see the other as ourselves. And somewhat in losing or loss and mourning, recognizing that he's closer to all of us. He's inside of us now. He's at peace. He is peace. And he's closer to us than ever before. I think this is important to remember. Love Wade Laughter so much. I hope we say his name forever. And I'm really thankful that his lessons will continue via church. So thanks everyone here. It's really beautiful to see everyone and to somewhat be happy we got to be blessed by Wade.
Blessed be.
As much as it's a loss, that's the thing. Like it was a blessing. Like it's life. That's what life is. So give thanks. We had this spectacular human being in our life. And that's why we value friends and family so much, because that's the spirit. That's the spirit of things going on. So yeah. And up on Wolf Mountain, transmitting that kind of message, that's pretty powerful in itself. So yeah, I mean, we did have a spectacular experience we had a gathering called the Hive Gathering with the Pure Certified family, and anyone who wanted to participate could come in, and we did it at Heartwood in Humboldt, and it's like an hour out of Garberville, just deep in the forest, and it's a really spectacular location, and we had 88 of us out there, and it was really special because Frenchie Canoli was there, Wade was there, Ethan Russo, Valerie was there in spirit. She brought words to it through another person. We had a lot of good representation of elders, a lot of also children running around, and we have a lot of video of that on our YouTube as well. And it was really special because we very much so connected on the humanistic level of where we were at the time, which was regenerative farming, bringing medicine to the people, and continuing its importance, how to show, because science doesn't prove that spiritual gardening matters, right? But when you talk with people and you experience it, you feel the spirit of it. And Wade was like a part of that embodiment. Swami, like really embodies that in his projection of what he does. And every one of us, I do feel that from. And I know so many people in the audience also, feel that way. And I also feel that from them because we speak outside of this all the time. But that spirit medicine reacts to our immune system and our neurological system in a way that is just not in a way you can calculate through science, and I felt like inspired through Wade and his life and the way he carried himself to keep that spirit alive. And that's what he did, and he shared that with us at the gathering, and all the wisdom of all the elders just kept rippling. So it is a ripple, and we're just continuing to ripple, and I give thanks for that.
I'm gonna say it's the ripple is real. I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta jump in my vehicle and go to the next place. My truck is not able to have this in the cars, so I just want to say thank you. Give grace to everybody. See you guys all again. Thanks.
Take it easy, Johnny B. Thanks for coming on. Another generous soul who's always about the giving and the helping.
Well, attitude of gratitude every day, right? We live with grace, and we have to appreciate what we got here, which is the moment we had here right now, which is the togetherness. Thank you, guys. Always. Much love.
Peace, Johnny. I also have to peace out. I gotta go do some birthday partying with my son.
Another way to celebrate life. So happy birthday to him. How old?
He's 6.
6 years old. What a blessing that is. Well, go share time, man. You don't want to miss any of that. That's the best.
Well, I love you all. Thanks for holding the space, Marcus, as always. I'll see you guys all next week. Have a beautiful day, man.
Yeah. Much love, Colin. Thanks for showing up and sharing. Always appreciate it. Yeah. It's still a couple 300 people watching, streaming live. Shout out to John Maddox and Camden and Bingo Lombardi for holding it down. As always, these guys it's almost like they're religious for church, these guys. They show up religiously.
Shout out to Adam, a churchgoer who contacted me, came all the way out from Colorado and helped us rehome 3 of the Ovcharka pups. This was a very cool effort via churchgoer. Met
Wow.
him, met him yesterday. He did the mission, the Wolf Mountain, the Wolf Mountain, Colorado connection, getting those healthy genetics out into the world. So this was I see as a big success via the church family.
That's very cool, man. I was hoping that some church folks would step in and help you find homes for those dogs.
That's
Yeah, that's
right.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
was very cool.
If you don't mind, I got a little bit of a kind of metaphysical thing to share. It seems like a pretty good time for it. If you
Please.
don't mind. Yeah, you know, in the work that I was talking about, following the string. I mean, I'm going to say something I don't think I've ever said live on my 196 podcasts, whatever I've done. But the way I do that is I just reach inside myself and look inside the universe. And, I feel like the universe is very accessible to us. It's all around us. If you look at anything close enough, you'll find infinity. And infinity is without bounds. That's its definition, without bounds. And I think that within that space, we operate as some sort of life, as some sort of living entity that communicates within itself and in various ways. And I try to listen to that. I'm not joking or, saying anything that's kind of, cliche. I mean, I literally try to listen to that. And if I find that I can't hear it, I try to focus harder, and I'll actually, do what would, in religious circles be called prayer. But I'm not talking to God per se, unless by God you mean all the living things that exist throughout the universe that are communicating with each other. And I feel like we, like a cell on your foot can communicate with your brain, especially if you step on a tack right at that location. And, the channel's always open. And I was just thinking about, Wade, and it brought me to thinking about something that Jimi Hendrix said. And he was saying that something along the lines of the music wasn't really coming from him, it was coming through him. And he was just bringing it to you. And if that's the case, then Wade operated in that space. I'm telling you, he operated in that space in like real time. And that's what you all are, I think, touchstoning is just that. And I don't know what it is. I don't want to give names to it and labels and all that shit. But I can say that it's brought me to places in my life that I would never have anticipated, goals that I would never have set for myself, things that everybody around me said weren't able to be done, let alone myself. It's a fluid of the universe that if I'm right, and my whole life so far seems to be proof that this seems to work, then he's not gone at all. I mean, then that he was touching on existed beyond him, beyond us, beyond everything you see, beyond things you can even imagine. And that's what you're touching. That's what you're bringing, like Jimmy said, channeling through. And I just hope that I'm right. I hope that I'm right, because it means that we're still touching the same well. And it's not like bringing Wade back. It's like he never left, to me.
Beautiful. Well said.
That's beautiful. He's closer to us for sure. And this is, Forrest mentioned that he was afraid. He had fear around the transition. And that's something that he didn't share with everyone. And what he was sharing, even when in pain, was meant to take care of those around him. And I'm going through a little stress right now, and I'm seeing how much it is a choice that I become sad, or my prayers that I speak are negative ones of loss, and versus even in the moments shifting them to grateful and from a strength of strength. And so yeah, how much, and what would Wade want of us? He would want us laughing and smiling and sharing and remembering him in this way. And just how, in Ganja very much somewhat evokes emotion, or allows us to cry sometimes, and how much of that is healthy? How much can the stress and the sadness create an issue or a problem versus the problems creating the stress? So this big cycle, I think Wade lived showing us, even when in distress, to stay the course, tap the infinite, not fear. Even if you are fearful, act as if you are in love. And so thanks, Wade, and thanks Mike for that share. I love the discussion of the infinite and the togetherness we have with Wade. Hi, Kelly.
Thanks for your words, Adam. I'm about to drop a little bit of
Okay,
milk.
so I was going to ask a question.
Go
if I
ahead,
could.
Dr. Mark, please.
What is the story of the Harlequin? Like, where were those genetics? Like, what did Wade do? Like, what does anyone know? Like, I was trying to represent it to trainer, and I'm like, I don't know what the story is. The
Swami
Harlequin.
told the story at the start of church.
At this church?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go back and listen. Damn it.
It was a bunch of seeds and only
Yeah,
one popped, and
Switzerland.
it had a cool story.
Yeah, the seeds came from Switzerland, and it was something that they were working on as a project, and they put a bunch of seeds in the ground, and one seed grew. So I don't believe he said like exactly what genetic it was. So I hopefully, I believe he has said that on church before, that I want to say. So maybe that'll be one of the clips that you can get. But
did it have a particularly aromatic terpene profile?
it was the only one that grew out of all the seeds, the only plant that grew. And so it was like this, it was a spiritual thing, because it was in the Goa Gill or whatnot that they did this like spiritual, healing over the seed. So it was the one that grew, but then that one he kept nurturing, and then he used like the grounding of the beds, and then working with the local labs, to continue the process of CBD and the CBD medicine work. So it was almost like spiritual in a way that it came.
And of course, Wade's magical soil that he's been making and tilling for many moons and decade plus, right? All about that permaculture. That man was all about it, talked about it, educated you about it. Go pull out some of those. He told you how to prep your soil, how to get things ready. And so he taught you along the way. And I hope you all have listened, because others like Nate and others that are part of our council, he has a medical cannabis license, and he grows a no-till way here in Northern California. And so, it's rare, it's hard to come across, and it disappears very fast because people know how good a medicine it truly is. And Wade was, again, his guide and teacher. And so, again, that continues onward as ways that we've been taught. And those little nuggets are here in Hash Church. So go back, people, find them, hunt them, cherish those little nuggets, because he gave it freely, willingly, so that you would carry it forward in these times when he's not here. He left those seeds for you. Now sprout them, bitches.
I can't resist in the silence. I have to say, there's just one thing that hasn't been mentioned today, and that's just energy, just the word energy. And I don't believe it was mentioned. If it has, I apologize profusely, because I have tried to listen. But that's what it all is about. When I was saying, that Wade is like he never left. I mean, what is it? The basic law of thermodynamics: energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It just changes form. So whatever energy it is that we found so beautiful within Wade, that can't be destroyed.
I got to split to you guys. Nice chatting with y'all and thinking about Wade with you and telling stories. It's really nice to see how he's impacted so many. So,
Love you, Ryan.
love you too. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you, right, guy. Be safe out there.
Bye, you too.
Yep.
Cheers.
Take it easy, Ryan. Thanks for coming on.
See you, Ryan.
It's got about another 7 minutes. I'm gonna go till noon today. Give 1 hour for everyone to go spend with their loved ones and themselves and enjoy the rest of their day. But yeah, I just want to say once again, I'm very, 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 very glad to have met Wade and to have got to spend this time with him, as I am with all of you. You know, I surely hope that you know and feel that. I hope that we don't only share that after someone's passing. It's good for us to tell the people that are alive in our days every day that we appreciate them. Not always so easy, depending on how you feel in the day and what you're going through, but certainly a noble pursuit, to say the least, to be as kind as you can out there. It's I find too that when if I can't figure that out, here in my village, for instance, we have a little bit of infighting going on, and there's issues with our beach that used to be public and now it's not public. And it's very easy to be the villager who's like, who are all these people coming to our beach? And yesterday I went down there and there was a family parking, and I said, hey, do you have a parking pass? And they said, no, I don't. And we were like, oh man, you're going to get like a $200 ticket. So I gave them information that allowed them to not get that ticket. And then later, when I saw them on the beach, instead of just being a family that I didn't recognize from my village, it was a family that I had gotten to know by helping. And so it created a whole different frequency. Not saying that I'm some miserable like villager who's just like, who are these people down on my beach? They're smoking cigarettes and they're playing loud music. Not at all. But I did notice that I also spoke to a couple from Langley who were out on the this concrete piece that's out on the water next to our beach. It's part of a boat launch, but it's old and it's not used anymore. They were standing on that watching the humpback whales go by. And I just started talking to them, and they were like, yeah, we heard about this on the internet. I mean, imagine that we live in a day and age that someone could hear about whales swimming around a body of water and then get in their car and drive an hour and a half to a village to end up, seeing these humpback whales and then I had a nice discussion with them. I also helped a Mexican gentleman, Jose, who was trying to get into his kayak with his colleagues. I don't know who they were, two women. One was from France, and I think actually they were both from France. He was from Mexico City. And they got in fine, and they went off, and he kept flipping over. And I wasn't paying attention. I didn't notice. I can't remember what I was doing at the time, but my wife told me, she said, oh, that poor guy, he's fallen like 2 or 3 times now. And I said, well, why doesn't someone go help him? So I took my shoes off and pulled my pants up and walked over and offered to help him and said, hey, man, the hardest part is just this part. And I kind of tried to give him the courage to get back in. In the end, he said, you know what? I'm totally okay. I fell 3 times. It's all good. He was very a good sport, because a lot of the people on the beach were literally laughing as he fell. And I just thought, oh my God, like what are we doing as a society while we are laughing at people who are failing in front of us? I appreciated just walking over and meeting him and sharing a little time. So here I am at my local beach. I met this guy from Mexico. I met 2 women from France. I met a couple from Langley, and I met a family from India, all by just stopping and talking to all of them. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I hope to do it again today. And all because we have this weird parking thing that's going on down there that I'm on one side of. And so I'm trying to help people not get parking tickets here in the Bay. Does it help me? Yes, it makes me feel better as a person. That's what I get out of it. And so I'm going to keep doing it. Anyone else want to say anything before we end today's Hash Church, as it is 3 minutes left?
I will say that the internet says, Dr. Mark, myrcene, caryophyllene, pinene. So it's probably delicious. That sounds fantastic. But that's what the internet says. Harlequin.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, the piney one. Somewhere I saw written. The piney one. I've never tried the Harlequin myself, but I'm certainly going to make an attempt to see what I can find.
It's interesting, Marcus, that the group that you mentioned, there were no Americans, right?
In what group?
You said you had met while it was like a Mexican group from India.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't meet any Americans, but I do. I do meet a lot of Americans. We're right near Whistler, so we have lots of people. Same with like Mount Baker, right over the Washington border. Tons of Canadians head down there. It just feels like it's kind of a different, not Canada or America. It's just this little mountainous town region that is like, okay, we're going to go over here now, we're going to go over there. And I hope to join them all at the end of August when I hopefully get my waiver and I can come down to America and visit all the wonderful people that I do not get to visit because, well, we all know why. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But thank you, Wade, for being our friend and spending so much time with us here on Hash Church. We will certainly never forget you. And thank you, Monica, for caring for Wade for so well and loving him and his love for you and just everything you guys had seemed like a real beautiful thing. I regret that I never got to visit and meet you guys in person, but I certainly am happy that I got to speak with you on phone calls and through texts and through Hash Church and get to know you guys that way. I want to thank everyone that came on, really everyone, too many to name, for sharing their stories about Wade and their love of Wade. Obviously, that was huge. Thank you, Forrest, for coming back after so many years and spending time with us and telling us that Silas was doing so much better and that he was 18 and like, wow, unbelievable, man. And just as I'm about to end, I can't because now Soma is coming in and we almost lost Soma recently. Soma almost passed away like literally 2 or 3 weeks ago. He was very sick in the hospital, missing, like having seizures. And so now, as I'm really about to wrap it up, Brother Soma popped into the room to say, no, Marcus, Hash Church is not over. Hash Church has just begun. How you doing, Soma? You getting it ready? I picture like Satoshi, like setting up the computer right now and getting everything prepared. Maybe Albert. It's hard to say. But yeah, hopefully we'll hear from him soon. No, he's definitely here, Bingo Lombardi. I see him in the room. He's just on mute and his video is turned off right now. But
And
we're gonna
as
stay. Go ahead,
as
Kelly.
it comes on, I was just wanting to say, all of this is just such a beautiful reminder of just without being too cliche, but really taking it into your heart that every day and every moment has to be gratitude, even when it comes at you really hard. And that the gratitude has to outshine so that we're able to keep moving forward. And I think that Wade really taught that. Oh, here's Soma. But I just wanted to be thankful for that. And he
That
was
was
always
just me.
gratitude.
You're good to go. That was just me sharing a picture that Albert had sent me a little while ago. We'll see if Soma gets on here soon. And we'll expand Hash Church. I'm always down to continue the conversation. And like I said, after losing Sam and then Soma ending up in the hospital and that wasn't looking good, having him come out of it and be healthy, like blew me away. Speaking to him very shortly afterwards, he was on the ball. He wasn't someone to me that had just like, suffered a stroke or something major. Like he really was still Soma. And it kind of gave me hope. I will be honest, even though watching Wade, travel in this direction, seeing Soma get better so fast, I thought it could happen for Wade too. Like, why not? So it's good to keep hope. Hope is good.
Well, there's quite a lot to learn from a near-death experience. Quite a lot to learn. Like for me, it's a blessing. Just like a blessing from a good mushroom journey or a good Bufo journey or LSD journey or a peyote journey or a Palo Santo. I mean, not Palo Santo. What am I talking about? Well, I like Palo Santo, but I'm
I
the other
smelt
cat.
it when you said it.
I was just burning it. But, for me, a near-death experience is just another psychedelic experience. And if you can get through whatever side you end up in, if you go through that and existence says to you, which side you want to stay on, this side or you want to go to the other side. And you kind of get a choice. You go, oh man, I still want to stay on this side because people need me to stay on this side still. Or sometimes I think you say, okay, I'm ready to go on the next side. And for me, the only thing that stops me from going to the other side is feeling that people need the support of me still on this side. And I need the support of myself.
I suspect Wade felt that a great deal as well, in that,
Yeah.
you know, which we always try to tell him. It's like, dude, it's okay, man. You've done enough. Like, it's enough. Trust me. You've got many supporters that can pick up the slack. Will we ever fill the hole? Of course not. But we'll pick up the slack.
These things that we do for people that have passed, that we know from the circle, are so beautiful. They're so beautiful. They're so beautiful. They make me cry, but the good type of tears, not the bad type of tears. You know what I mean?
Well, I suspect that when you tear up in a sadness manner, the frequency is different than when you tear up in a happy manner.
Yes, yes.
And that would, at least from Imoto Masurato's great book, The Messages in the Water, I suspect that there's always something different going on in the frequency of the water that creates those different patterns when he was freezing the water and creating beautiful, you know, architect of mathematically correct images versus warped and distorted images from negativity and hate. Always thought that was pretty profound. Well, I didn't get to meet Wade, but I sure got to meet Dr. Emoto.
I've been going through it, that line between powerful prayer and wailing or begging versus stating the future. And it is a fine line. The emotion will bring you towards the gushing, or when we cry negative, it's a bit of a gushing, and you're generating and releasing chemicals in your body. And those could lead to problematics. Whereas I find when I'm in the tears of joy, it's flowing, it's less gushing, and it's a flow. It's more of sign of good hydration and possibly generating the proper chemicals in our body. And so it's aligned, and we can guide it. We can guide it a bit. I'm trying to stay out of the negative, fearful tears and guide towards positive state. If my mantra is incorrect, change it. Well, your mantra is your narrative, and your narrative creates your life. So probably a good idea. It's good to see you, Soma. We're so glad you came in.
Yes, it's so good to see you. Every time I look at you and listen to you, it's so full of positivity that it helps me. I don't know who else but you it helps heal, but it definitely helps me heal.
Yeah, there's something to be said with maintaining positive. Well, it's something to be said for authenticity. I think that is the real key right there. It's about authenticity and being able to be, you know, because where does the most positiveness come from? It comes from those who tend to suffer the most. You know, who else would need to be positive and need, you know, like who's the closest to the other side of that coin? You know, those that are suffering. And so
Well, it leads to longevity, right? Because we've watched so many people suffer. I mean, those life is about suffering, right? Life is very hard, and all we're doing is helping each other to the end. but we tend to forget that, life is full of struggles and life is hard and there is no fucking guidebook for any of this shit, and we have to make this all up as we go along. And so those that I saw that were long range survivors, those that had survived a lot of trauma, used humor as well as positivity to survive. And I think by keying those parts of our survivability in, it has also helped us bring perspective of who and what we are and where we are. And it never lets us forget where we are and who we are. So thank you, Soma. Love you. It's great to see you always.
I think there is a little bit of a guidebook. I don't know. I might be glitching. Sorry if I am. I think that the guidebook, and Wade was always constantly reminding us, is that the guidebook is nature. And nature often seeds itself, 7, 12 generations ahead. Sometimes a seed that's dropped from a tree will actually come up a sprout, 24 years later. And I believe that one of the things that we're all sort of talking about today, or, have touched on a lot, is that just like nature and these moments, and when things are difficult and when we have to dig for positivity, we can seed our future. We can seed this moment with how we want to remember it. We can seed this moment with all the way into our future lives. And I always like to think that these moments of difficulty and these moments of, when we have to break it down to love and fear, it gives that powerful seed that we know that our soul would never go against itself. It's powerful to plant a seed that's going to go well into the future, into your many, many lives ahead of us, and then be able to see that sprout. And it's a lot about what we're talking about. What kind of seed do you want? The seed of positivity, the seed of fear, the seed of pain? Or are we going to say, oh, I'm going to seed this because of its beauty and because of its grace and because of its terpene profile is so fucking great. And I'm going to make it awesome right now so that when I remember it, or when I stumble upon it in my future lives, that I've done that for myself. And this Hash Church has been a lot about that moment right now. And I just think that we all have that opportunity to be like nature and put it in the ground. Love you guys.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kelly. Very, very nice words. I'm going to go back and listen to this one. I know for a fact I definitely will put this one on a podcast. I don't do that to many Hash churches. There's a lot of them that we've done over the years. Oh my goodness. Looks like the poppies in my front yard are blooming. My wife just sent me this picture. Speaking of wives, or spouses or partners, one of the things Wade always said was speak kindly to your spouse - partner. He said that on Hash Church not too long ago, and I can't remember who just wrote that in the chat, maybe an hour ago, but I meant to say it then, and so I'll say it now instead. Beautiful. Little poppy in the front yard. Oh, it's beautiful. Spring is in the air. I will say that. The bears are up, the cubs are out, they're climbing our trees, they're all over the house, all around the neighborhood here. It's been pretty cool. I've spent a lot of time in the forest, as you can see by my arms. This is all pulling blackberry brambles. Josh, you must have arms that look like that, Josh. There you go. Yep.
The valerian on our property is blooming right now, and valerian flowers have a crazy flavor. I don't know how many people have them. They're pretty easy to grow, and then they propagate themselves as well.
They're sort of like cilantro. You
really
either
good name for something, Valerian. I can't remember right now, but what's it good for?
it's really good for rest and nervous system
That's right.
and sleep.
It's a little bit of a sedative.
Yeah, some people
Yes.
react with crazy dreams, so it doesn't work for some people,
There you
but
go.
Yeah.
Those little flowers smell like pee.
Yeah.
Like it smells
or
like
like
cat pee or
sweet
something, and you
pea.
get in.
Oh, that's not
You're
very
like,
nice.
whoa, what's going on? You're like, oh shit. There.
I love it.
It's one of the biodynamic preps as well, like yarrow and valerian.
Yeah,
Nettles.
you
There's one of
spray
the
it.
few like master herbs that kind of grows wild on the property, but also the lupins are extremely spectacular
They are.
on the property
Going
right
for
now.
them.
So give thanks for the blooms and the blossoms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Historically, it's interesting that there was, I believe, a valerian cannabis pharmaceutical product, around 1920 that you can get in the pharmacy.
Wow.
It's quite interesting. Yeah. I think that's one of the, we've picked up our skill of hash making. I think we only rather recently in the timeline surpassed our ancestors' ability to make extracts. 'Cause they had some really good like Park Davis extracts. I mean, but yeah, we've never really caught up to their skill at combining herbs and getting the best quality of herbs to work with cannabis. Think about that. Cannabis helps you knock down your dreams. Valerian maybe, knocks up your dreams. Putting them together might actually work, perfectly in the right combination. And I'm sure they did some tests. I don't know what they did them on, but or how ethical they were, but I'm sure they tried to figure out how to apply that shit.
even getting the application of the medicine just by being in the garden and in the forest, and the blackberries that you're pulling out, that's signaling those scratches, and the little insertion of the medicine is going to call your immune system, and your skin and the dermis will be healthier, much in the way that ganja topically does multiple things. It is plugging into the endocannabinoid, it is absorbing, but it's also calling circulation, it's calling the immune system to that place. And then nettle, as aforementioned, is very much, it's like a little bit of inflammation where you need it is going to increase circulation. And this is to be able to guide that just by being in the garden and interacting. Yeah.
On a 45-degree slope, picking blackberry brambles that have been there and dead for 15 years.
Wow.
But I welcomed it.
You need a goat.
Dude, listen. So I contacted my local town hall. I contacted my local town hall. Animal husbandry is not allowed. But we are allowed pets. And are you allowed a pet chicken? No, unfortunately not. But I'm looking into right now whether I can have a pet goat. Now, I have to be careful because if I put a goat on the mountain right now, he could be consumed by a bear. And I don't want that to happen on my front yard. But I'm looking into it because there's like 2 feet of blackberry, and I've just been pulling it out by hand and then carrying it up this 45-degree slope and then putting it on my driveway. But that would be amazing if I could just let a little goat down there and be like, here you go, little dude, like just eat until your heart's,
Jurassic Park. Feed it
Jurassic
to
Park.
feed. There might be people with goats that do that service, and we'll bring them along for a day. That might be something that's available.
Yeah,
It's pretty
exactly.
rural.
Blackberry poop goat manure.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly. Turn it all
like
into
a big kind of a big over there?
certain things don't break down. They just like these like ferns are one. There's a type of fern where the leaf will die underneath and then new ones will grow up. But we had 10 years of debt. I had to literally pull out and cut 10 years of leaves that had just fallen. And you could see like different funguses trying to get a hold of it, but no, they just and the other one is the blackberry brambles. When you crush them and cut them into pieces and leave them in your soil, they'll be there like 10 years later as solid pieces of blackberry brambles. It's crazy. I was like, it'll just, degrade into the soil. I'm farming over here. No, apparently I was not. I was doing the opposite of that. I was ignoring my property. An acre is a lot for a residential property. on a mountain. Probably,
You know,
I,
just a quick little remedy, you can just rent a super small chipper and just run all that through a little chipper, and it really works
Shredder.
amazing, actually.
we've talked about the chipper. The bottom line is the only thing I'm trying to avoid is getting it off the mountain up onto my driveway where the chipper would be. So once I get it there, whether I put it in green waste bags or into a chipper, my neighbor just told me yesterday, why don't we all go in on a chipper so we can chip our wood and create, nice wood chip for our gardens and stuff. I was like, yeah. He had the same idea, Kelly. You're onto something. Oh, you're muted. I see your lips moving.
I was just gonna say you could get a chipper and then a pelletizer. So you
Yeah.
make pellets out of it, and you can get like leaf and nettle, leaves and just bam, chip it. I'm sorry, and then pelletize it.
Yeah. I used to have a pellet stove. Those things were incredible. I couldn't believe the amount of heat. It took away the joy of watching a fire. I will say that. The efficiency of a pellet stove is like a little flame that you get to watch, like light up 3 pellets at a time. But it literally produces like 10 times more heat than a traditional fireplace. Holy shit. It's insane. It is insane. But I have 2 fireplaces in my house now and absolutely love having fires at the,
Oh, I
on
love
on a
having
cold day.
fires.
Yeah.
Even
You
if it's
can't,
even if it's not cold enough, I love sitting in front of the fire.
are you guys, I thought you couldn't have fires in Amsterdam anymore.
No, I have a fireplace upstairs the whole time I live here.
And you just use it?
Every time it's cold.
Damn right, dude. I totally thought for some reason you weren't even allowed to have fires in Amsterdam.
Well, in some places you're not, but I still am.
Well, I'm gonna come over there on a cold day in the very near future, and we're gonna light that fireplace up because that's
Yeah.
that's a bucket
And I
list. I
just
have
put some
never.
good music on, smoking on 2 chairs right in front of the fireplace with somebody that I'm friendly with, and yeah, we have a great time.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it.
On that note, I just wanted to mention we're going to be in Berlin at Mary Jane, and we're going to be creating a space called the Legacy Lounge. And it's just going to be chatting with Josh and I. So we really just want to get like a full schedule of people that just want to come on in and have amazing chats. I think we're even going to have sort of a theme of it, of people giving some of their top advice in or out of. Oh, hey, there it is. Yeah,
And we'll be
so
collaborating in the garden.
yeah, we'll be in the garden at Mary Jane. So just get in touch with us if you're going to be out there. So I just wanted to plug that because we just want to spend some time talking to everybody. And it was crazy. I put this out and we're already almost all filled up, but we'll even do it outside of Mary Jane. So we'll be there for a week. And we're really looking forward to talking with everybody.
You have got to go meet my new friend Trichomes. I'm gonna link you up with him. I thought this was fake. I remember seeing this a while ago that there was this new like UFC guy from like Germany, and he just looked like an absolute savage. I just seen this video of him just like pumped up after just destroying someone. I was like, oh my God, this guy's wild. And then someone sends, it was actually, I think it was Constantine Hortalab, who sent it to me originally. I'm gonna show it to you guys right now because I was just like, is this really like happening right now? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, maybe I have it in my story. No, it's gone there. So now I have to go back to Hortalab and find it. Bear with me. I was so close. So close. I almost had it. There we go. Hortalab. So Constantine, I met Constantine years ago at Breeder Steve's place. Let's hope this still exists because it was funny. Let me see if it still exists. So I didn't believe it at first. I thought, is this like AI or something? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's gone. I guess it was in a story, and that story is no longer available. That's too bad. I'm gonna have to get that guy to see if he can um get it again. Because basically what it was this UFC guy, and he was the trichomas guy is like standing against the wall holding some bubble, and he's like trying to light it with a lighter, and he's like, what the he's like, why it's not bubbling? Why it's not bubbling? And then the UFC guy comes over and he just like smacks the hash out of the guy, and he's standing there and he goes, read it. And on his shirt, it says, if it doesn't bubble, it's not worth the trouble. Dude, I was like, what the fuck is this right now? Is this real? I really wish I could have showed you guys the video because it was pretty funny. They're going to Berlin as well, so you should go meet those guys and you should interview them. He's called Neanderthal BJJ on Instagram. That's what his
Yeah,
Instagram
I'd
is.
love for anyone
That's
to
hilarious.
hook us up with people that we need to talk to as well. You
Yeah,
know?
well, trichomas would be another one.
And
Okay.
also product reviews on interesting new things. that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
coming out.
So we're going to be doing some little product reviews, some little super
I found
personal
it.
commercials. That
Are
too.
you going to be there, Selma, or are you staying in Amsterdam?
This year I'm gonna stay in Amsterdam unless I'm online then somewhere, which I
Fair
gladly.
enough.
If it don't bubble, it's not worth the
Ah.
trouble.
But I'm gonna feel a little bit bad that I'm not there because I would love to see all the people I love there in person. But I'm
Agreed.
definitely gonna watch whatever I can of it and connect with whatever I can of it online and through other ways.
Nice.
God,
Well,
I can remember meeting in Germany with Soma in like, man, in like Dortmund at the Canna business. That was like in the 90s, maybe.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's still going though. Germany always represents somehow. What's that,
It's
Soma?
Grow magazine back then.
Right.
The German Grow magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, they had the bus. It was highly illegal. And so the only safe place to smoke was on top of this crazy bus that it was like a double-decker bus, and on top he had like a DJ and a lounge. And that was really the only place you could go and be safe puffing. So that's where we spent the entire event.
nice. Soma, and if spirit does move you to come, we'll have a place for you to just be in a nice, comfy space, and we'll just
Very tempting.
talk
Very,
to people all day long. You know, that's what
very,
it.
the more recovered I get at this point, it gets more tempting.
Yeah, when you're
You
ready.
know, compared to how I was a month ago, my God, what a
Yeah.
difference. What a difference. And if you asked me a month ago, I wouldn't have thought I could get this far by now. You know, I'm still getting my memory back, you know.
Mhm.
But
Well,
I'm so grateful. I have so much gratitude for all of it, the bad parts of it and the healing parts of it, because I needed every bit of it to be who I am right this very second in the here and now, or else I couldn't be who I am right now. And I'm just grateful.
It's a good way
I
to be.
don't regret going through one bit of it.
Well, it's been your journey.
Yeah.
Would we be who we are without our journey? It's very, very
Absolutely. Absolutely.
interesting. You know, it's literally who you are.
Hey,
Yes,
so
just embrace it.
if you had a really important teaching, you know, since you're not going to be in Berlin, you know, the questions that we are going to be asking in the Legacy Lounge are, what are some of the top pieces of advice that maybe you could offer, and you being really to the depths of your spirit and the depths of your soul and the depths of your physical being? I was wondering if you had any advice or
Yeah, I have some advice that I give myself more now than ever. is I think one of the most important things as a human being, no matter who or what you're doing, is to be kind. No matter what comes at you, no matter what challenge comes your way, to find it in your heart to deal with it with kindness. And think about if all of us did that. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. If all of us got kind in the same moment, this place would flip its script. You know?
Well, I think this place would disappear because that frequency would, you'd just be in a different frequency. You wouldn't be in the same place. You know, it's part of, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. I've definitely experienced it on psychedelics in the past without being able to put words into it. That just pure joy. But at the same time, as I'm here, as much as I've loved joy, I've learned more from the pain. And
Me
so
too.
then I think of its importance. I'm like, oh man, like we can't get rid of that. It's wild.
Where you need strength is when the dark side is calling and there's an option to fall prey and fall into the trap of losing your kindness and your grace. It's very difficult. It's like at the worst, most dark time to still be strong and to not want to find some easy way
Wow.
out.
I gotta take my pills.
Great seeing
Yeah. I have to sign off now.
Love you.
But I love you all. I love you all. I got to take these pharmaceuticals these days, but they're helping me too. But
Love you.
I love you all so much from the bottom of my heart and the top of my heart in every way.
Well, I'm glad we spent the extra half an hour with you, Soma. You extended Hash Church. It was going to be a 3-hour Hash Church. You gave us the extra half an hour. So
It was
Thank you.
the encore.
It was the encore. It was amazing.
Love
No, I'm
you.
really
Go
happy.
to Berlin.
I
Yes,
bless you all,
Berlin.
all I can.
All right, Soma. We'll talk soon, brother. Well, thanks everybody. Really appreciate you all for hanging out, for even for the extra little bit as I was saying goodbye. We'll meet here again next Sunday, same bat time, same bat place. I do think I'm this close to getting the Aromatic Volatile show with Dr. Mark and the Abstract and Nick Ziegler and Marshall and Jeremy Plum and Ryan Lee and all of these people who specialize in this aromatic nature, chemists and whatnot. Maybe Justin Conway might join us as well from Canera, PhD chemist. But June 22nd, it's like herding cats with these guys. They do not reply to emails. I keep, and by you guys, Dr. Mark, you're on the list. I hope to get that they all get together and we make sure that we create the sort of, you know, Nick wants to create a little bit of a, you know, so it's not just all free range. He wants to create a little bit of structure to the show. So I'll keep you guys in the know about that. Hopefully we do that on June 22nd. Otherwise, I want to thank Puffco and the Press Club as well for being so understanding. They sponsor the show. I didn't mention them at the start of the show. I didn't show their logos. They were very cool about that, but I want to give them a shout out for being such cool folks. Thanks everyone for watching today, including the entire Hash Church congregation. Can I call them a congregation? I suppose I can. I'm stoned on hash. Why couldn't I? There's no rules here. Thanks for coming out, everybody. May the full melt bless your bowl sooner than later. And bless you, Wade. Blessed be.